All right, guys. So today we got retail sales data coming out. Market's flushing down a little bit ahead of this report. Tomorrow we also have the FOMC minutes report. That's really important. Let me check Twitter. I haven't really looked at Twitter yet. All right, team. What's up, guys? What's up, One Love? What's up, What's up, Max? What's up, Beach Bum? All right. All right, team. Let me get some music playing. Hey, good luck for your Palantir calls, Keith. Yeah, market's flushing down a little bit, and that's all right. Let me get some music playing. Where's AMC at? What did AMC end up doing? AMC at 350. Pretty rough. What's up, DS? Yeah, I might buy some options today. Yeah, what's up, Max? THSA, what's up, Alyssa Beach Bum Hans? Yeah, retail sales data today. It's somewhat important. It's not like the biggest release ever, but it's somewhat important. It's important to watch. 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Where did I put a timer up here? So it is now 6:30. So we got about 2 hours. All right, here's the timer. Oh, sorry, I got the hiccups this morning. Here's the timer for the retail sales release. THSA. You can take a look at it. Yeah, that one is pretty crazy today, man. We're going to do a poll. Bullish or bearish on today's retail sales data release. Bull, bear, and then I don't know. The poll, vote on it. Let me know how you feel. Yeah, I haven't even drank my coffee yet this morning. GCT earnings were reported this morning. What other earnings are today? Let me see. Oh, we got Home Depot earnings today, man. I completely forgot about that. Home Depot, C Limited. How's Home Depot earnings treating the market? Not really reacting much. We got C Limited. SE just dropped 10 seconds ago. So let's see what SE showed. Here's SE. SE is not loving life. It's all the way down to $50.80. Let's see what they posted here for SE. You can see SE's numbers. They're using 50. They reported 54-cent EPS profit versus 47-cent estimates. Yeah, I don't see anything else. There it is. So the revenue came in at 3.1 billion for C versus 3.2 billion expected. I'm not sure why they're down so much. Like, look at them. They're all the way down under $50. They did better than expected on EPS. They expected 47 cents. They showed 54 cents. They did 3.1 billion. Okay, so they came in lower than expected for revenue. So C, actually, yeah, that's correct. So again, they expected 3.2 billion. They only showed 3.1 billion for SE here. And that's the reason they're down. Hey, what's up, guys? C Limited's dumping down pretty quickly on earnings. You can see that on the right side here. Yeah, everything down pretty decently, but it was a run up yesterday, you know. C Limited is SE. It's like C-Do, I believe, and like some of the other numbers. We'll put these numbers up in chat. Again, there's C Limited numbers right there. All right, bear with me. I'm going to mute the music for just a second. I was thinking last knife to liquidate longs and then squeeze 2 years ago. This was a $300 stock. What, C Limited? Yeah. I mean, 2 years ago, it was a $400 stock, basically. Yeah. So, all right, guys. So All right, there we go. Sorry, I had to watch something real quick. Yeah, so sit back, guys. 368s right now, 368s on the Q. Here's C limited again, dropped mixed results. Worse than expected revenue is causing this thing to dump down. It's at $50 a share now. So yeah. We also had Home Depot release numbers this morning. Home Depot, which is pretty big for retail. And then with today's retail sales data, it's all very relevant. Home Depot did better than expected on everything, though. Here's Home Depot's numbers. But again, I hope you guys can kind of see how this is all pretty relevant to retail. We got Home Depot, C Limited, and then retail sales data all dropping today. All right, guys. I'm in SE earnings real light, though, about a couple outs. Hey, good luck, man. I know that one's dripping down. What's up, David? I hope you're doing good, brother. Good morning, John and all. Seems like Smart Money thinks NVIDIA will have a blowout earnings. Yeah. NVIDIA earnings drop next Wednesday, in a week and a day from today. All right, guys. Market's about to back up a little bit short term, though. NVIDIA back up to 441s. Okay, got you. Let me log out of this real quick. Okay. All right, guys. So again, we got a little bounce on the Q. We're at 368. Again, C limited. Is there an argument for a dip buy right here? Is the real question. Like, is there an argument for a dip buy right now? I think there should be, but again, we never know what's going to happen today. And with retail sales data coming out, I don't know, but these are typically the dips that I like to buy, you know? Yeah, and so we're watching for a potential dip. Back up to 50-20s, man. I would love to have gotten in on that dip, but might be a good dip buy. Yeah, we'll see. You could feather into it. It's up too much already, man. I wanted the dip, but I missed it, and it's already up a decent amount. I was thinking about doing it at like 49.50s. It's currently up to 150 plus already. So if we get another little dip, we might buy it, but we'll wait. C is C limited. Yeah, I mean, typically, like one thing that you'll see happen to me a lot, and again, I'm going to preface everything with like, I'm not telling anybody to do anything. I'm certainly not telling anybody to buy anything, right? But like one of my favorite strategies for stocks is I wait for companies to have an overreaction to earnings, like an underwhelming reaction. Like maybe they're pulling back heavy, but they need to be large companies. And then once they have a pretty big dip, I buy that dip and I sit on it for a couple days and I ride the bounce back. But I can only do it in like larger cap companies. The only issue, see there, and it works generally really well. Like you can kind of see if I would have bought where I was talking about, I would be up a couple dollars a share right now, and it's already up to over 51s or popped over that for a second. The only issue with C limited, if I'm being completely honest, is the long-term trend is not the best for C limited. This is a really sketchy looking long-term chart. And so this is not a company that I'd be willing to hold long term. If I'm being completely honest, I'm not going to want to hold this long term. It's way too vulnerable. The lows of the last few years are at $10. And, this thing has not had a bullish sentiment in a longer term trend since 2021. And I think that's risky. That's sketchy. And so, again, this is not one of those companies that I would hold forever. But again, buying that dip, as I just mentioned, would have worked lovely. I got to go with my own, I got to take my own setups sometimes. And it's all good. But yeah. Yeah, there'll be other opportunities. It's all good. All right, so how do you guys dude, so Tiffany Gomez, the girl who freaked out on a plane, has now grown a very large social media following. Honestly, this is getting really, really, really slippery territory, if I'm being honest. Like, her growing a following from something like that is very bad, because what this ultimately means, guys, and you guys have to understand this, all right? Like, think about the future. If people grow huge followings by having public freakouts like that, think about how chaotic the future is going to be if that standard continues where, again, if you don't know Tiffany Gomez, she freaked out on the plane. She got on a plane and she basically said, that man is not real. She freaked out. My guess, if I'm being honest, and again, this is my guess, my honest guess about Tiffany here. People a lot of the time take mushrooms, psilocybin mushrooms, before they get on planes, right? It's kind of like a thing that young people do where they do it. They get on a plane, they see all the clouds and all the colors and all that stuff. And I think that she tried to do that and it went wrong on her. I think it wasn't the funnest time for her. But now she's grown a following of over 100,000, which is kind of crazy. Guys, let's not make people like this famous, bro. If we do, we're only going to see more nonsense like this out in everyday life, you know? Yeah. I don't know, man. Maybe she was right. I don't know. But lizard people, yeah, that's more. That makes more sense, you know? But I think deep down, everybody knows she probably just took some mushrooms on the plane. Do not do that. I'm certainly not telling anybody to do that. I've never, you know, I don't know anything about that team. I know nothing about any of that. What's up, Manny? Sounds like a bad idea, is what it sounds like to me, but, you know. But I'm pretty sure that's what went down, you know. It was that or some type of psychedelic. That's the only answer there. And it's either that or some type of psychedelic, or it's what's the condition that makes you see things? It's like it either makes you see things or you like get these weird senses or distrust for people. What's the condition? Chat will know. Yeah, I mean, typically with celebrities, they usually do something, though. So whether it's music, and regardless of whether you like certain music, typically the music that they post, like it's one thing if somebody builds a following by providing value. You know, like I'm not saying I'm famous or anything like that, because I'm obviously not. But like I grew a following by providing objective value. Like we provide a service here. You know, we provide value. And it's fine. Actors do provide value, like they act, you know, and if they can act well, and you know, they are working for that, and so I can respect that too. It's when people don't do anything but freak out or do something negative where they grow a following. That's the issue I have. That's where I think it's a slippery slope, and I think it's a bad thing that could ultimately just spiral into a really rough standard of making people famous over nonsense. Schizophrenia is what I was referencing, Alan. Good guesses though, guys. I said a condition. But yeah, Q bounced it up a little bit. It's at 368. So we'll see if it holds. Yeah, I just made a tweet. Tiffany Gomez wanted to have fun and take shrooms on a plane. Now she has grown over 100K followers in a couple of days. Yeah. And I guess for Tesla, yeah, I mean Tesla's again, the only real thing I can say is like the real edge I have is swing trading and investing. And so what Tesla's going to do today, tomorrow, I really don't know. You don't actually know that? Well, yeah, I mean, you don't actually know anything. The point is, that's almost certainly what happened, regardless of whether we know for sure or not. Tesla's the BlackBerry of the EV industry. That's a hilarious quote. Again, the reason it's funny is because it's like, it's just not accurate. No other EV brand is anywhere close to Tesla. No other EV brand is anywhere close to it. Like they're not anywhere near production numbers of Tesla. Nothing out there is. And so everywhere you go, you see a Tesla, bro. Like everywhere I go. I mean, I live in the Woodlands, so it's a little bit more of a, for lack of a better word, a snooty place. So I see probably a little bit more Teslas than normal. When I go to Baton Rouge, I see a little bit less of them, but you still see a bunch of them. So Teslas are still very common in seeing them. Hey, thank you, David. Thanks, man. And so, yeah, Tesla's miles ahead of everything else. And that's the thing that's very self-evident. You know, I mean, Tesla has some haters. The problem is, like, Elon went political. And I disagree with that. I don't think he ever should have gone political. I think he should have just stayed out of political stuff. But, like, when you go political, you build enemies. And, like, people who are, like, rooting for their political party like it's their football team, you know, either love you or hate you now based off of that one political party. And that's something I just disagree with. Like, I'm very neutral politically. I don't like any of that stuff. I hate all the nuance of politics in general, and I mostly just look at policies. But yeah, in that regard, I don't know. Tesla's obviously going to be okay. I think even like currently where Tesla's sitting right now, for instance, right? Like let's take a look at their PE ratio. I don't think it's terrible. Like Amazon has like a price to earnings ratio. So what they're producing versus, or what they're producing in terms of earnings versus what the price of their stock currently is, right? And so if you look at Tesla right now, they have a PE ratio of about 65, which again is not great, but it's not horrible either. And I think when you look at something like Amazon, let me look at the other numbers here. Let me see if we can figure it out. Yeah. 100 years ago, Ford is just the... Yeah, yeah, for sure, Corey. I mean, again, the problem is like, look, I disagree with what Elon said too. Like, I truly do. Like, I disagree a lot with what he said, man. I think a lot of what he's saying sounds kind of out there to me. But when you ignore all of that stuff, the stuff that truly doesn't really matter in terms of like being a publicly traded company, and you look at production numbers, you look at just the overall trends in EV, you understand Tesla is the very, very top, and that everything else is kind of there, but it's not really any threat to Tesla currently. Now, maybe that changes in the future, but that's what we see right now. Yeah, but we're saying, are you bullish or bearish on like the release? We're not saying we're asking, does the market go up or down based off of this release is what we're asking. Yeah, I mean, typically the market can be very contrarian. A lot of the time it does the opposite of what you think it might do. And when everybody thinks the market's going to crash, you see huge runs. And when everybody thinks the market is going to fail, are going to run, you see big dips, and that's typically pretty standard. So AMC's down a lot, man. Will it ever bounce back this year is the question, too. Will AMC bounce back this year? Yeah, so again, dude, every freaking day, bro, AMC ape traders find some other crazy conspiracy theory on why today's the day. At a certain point, how many times do you like, you would think human nature would go like this, right? You would think human nature would say, hey guys, today's the day. The crazy squeeze is here. Today is the day we get a crazy parabolic squeeze in AMC. Yes. Everybody's like, woo. And then that day comes and goes, and there's no squeeze. And then that happens 2 or 3 times, and then you say, hey, wait, we're getting all excited saying this crazy thing's going to happen, and then it doesn't happen, and then we just kind of sit here until the next one. And then we say it's going to crazy squeeze again, and then it doesn't, and then we sit here again. And that happens over and over again. Eventually, you know, Einstein's definition of insanity is continuously trying the same thing, expecting a different result here. What's today's argument on AMC on why it's going to squeeze? You know, that's the question. What's AMC's argument on like a squeeze? I don't know. Yeah, so yesterday, U.S. Treasury Secretary Yellen said inflation is coming down and a very large share of Americans feel good about their personal situation while also expressing optimism about the U.S. economy. Yellen also noted that the developments overseas and the war could pose uncertainty, of course, and that's something you want to watch and pay attention to as well. All right, so SC pull it back down a little bit as well. I got back in AMC yesterday, picked up a bunch of shares at 320s, hoping for a relief bounce. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, I think. I think that's an arguable thing, like that we might get, hopefully. You know? Hey, thanks. It happens because people close or open positions, yeah. All right, guys. How's Forex market doing? I mean, Forex market's not really a market that I mess with, but I've always thought about trading it. Would you rather play Phil Ivey heads up for a chance to win 500K or to just take 100K for free? I'd probably rather the 100K because Phil Ivey's the GOAT and I'm not trying to play him. All right, guys. Again, we're at 50.5 on C limited. We can put the SPY up as well here. Here's the SPY. Yeah. Currency trading years ago, I had some friends that were super into Forex and they were trying to loop me into it and felt very cultish at the time. Yeah, maybe you're right. One can argue why market got the bounce yesterday. No. Yesterday was just Monday. You had a lot of stuff going on. Again, core retail sales data, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be ready, guys. Yeah, we're just kind of sitting tight here, guys. A little bit quiet today. Started the stream a little bit later. And yeah, guys, what do you guys think? Let me look at the poll numbers here. So on the poll, we got about 150 votes already. 48% are bearish, 42% are bullish, and 11% say, I don't know. It's a big day for retail. We don't just have one stock release today. We got a bunch of different releases, in all honesty. We also have earnings today as well here, guys. So we do have some earnings today also. We had Home Depot, C Limited, both released their numbers. None of the other ones are really big. I don't think we have any in the evening either. No, so nothing really big. Earnings season is effectively, basically done. Except for Wednesday, we've got Target, JD.com, ZIM, and a couple other ones. But nothing really big in those releases here. So, yeah. Currency trade involves the current economic status of the country. Yeah. Again, AMC down there, guys. It's down there. It might be an argument for a dip buy. I might add a little bit to it down here, to be honest. Because I think while I'm skeptical of a lot of stuff here, I think there's an argument for potentially trying to capitalize on some of this weak looking action here. And we'll see. And so I might, take a little bit more of AMC. I'm also going to be playing more options. My Roblox option did really well. And so looking for big pullbacks in stocks and buying options on them and trying to play those options, I think that makes sense too for me personally. And that might be something that I start doing from here on out. Yeah, NVIDIA moving the market for sure. Up to 443s, all the way back up to almost 450s. And that's a big move. All right, guys. TSHA. Yeah, I saw TSHA. It's a big move, honestly, for a penny stock here. So SPY started dip down at 485. So TSHSH or TSHA. Look at this move. So this is a penny stock. It has gone from like 1.5 to 245. So it's had some pretty big upward action here. Some pretty big green movement here for sure. And the market's definitely at its slower part of the year here. So yeah, the market's definitely at its like slower part of the year. It's definitely moving a little bit slower relative to what it normally does. Like in the middle of the year, you know, today's just slow. It's just slow. Again, typically to give you some perspective on what happens, you might think like the middle of the summer is the slowest. It's not. Typically, the slowest part of the year is today, this month, and next month. So August and September are the two slowest months of the year. If you look at the historical movement, it's most likely for a few different reasons. One of them is most likely because historically September is a bad month for trading, right? And so when investors understand that that's a bad month for trading, they typically are more inclined to stop trading as much, not push as hard, if that makes sense. Beginning of September volatility institutions will be back. Yeah, we'll typically start to get some volatility. The good thing is that everybody's back in school. Yeah, the holidays ramp up the market, and the reason the holidays ramp up the market is because it's just a more economic, like, part of the year. You know what I mean? Like when sales are going, sales typically increase during the holidays and fall season, and so with that, you know, we generally get more like volatility during the fall months, but not always. You know what I mean? Not always. Everything varies and is different. Do you have Apple stock still? Yeah, I'm holding Apple. But again, these are long-term portfolios to understand it. I'm actually still green on the trade. My average in Apple is 177.70, and we're at 178.50. So I'm up almost $1 a share in Apple, even with the pullback. So yeah, I'm in Apple, but it's a long-term trade. It's not a short-term trade whatsoever. Like I'm going to be holding that thing long-term. And so what happens now is insignificant. Yeah, we're looking at a couple. We're looking at a couple different trades today that we want to take. Will you add if it pulls back more? Maybe, but again, I don't want to take up too much of my like equity buying power. In all honesty, like I don't want to take up too much of my buying power and equity to trade that. I might add to it, but I'll probably just sit. I think this is going to be green long term, and so I just kind of just need to sit back and not push too heavy. If that makes sense, you know. September is just typically a losing year historically, or a losing month. Yeah, so like if we look at September here, September usually, like the historical return of September is a losing one. So like for instance, if we look back over time at like how the month of September performs, in 2022, September dropped the market 9.33%. In September of 2021, the market went down almost 5%. In September of 2020, the market went down almost 4%. In September of 2019, the market only gained 1.7%. So it did go up a little bit. But when you look at these stats, historically, September's a red month for trading. But that doesn't mean everything. Like that doesn't mean it has to drop or whatever in September. But it is something to keep an eye on and just focus on and understand. Like September's typically not a great month for gains historically, but it doesn't mean anything now. Mr. Burry is bearish on the market. I think he's wrong. Burry's always bearish, though, bro. Like, when is he ever bullish? Non-stop pump until now, then bearish. Yeah, I mean, where do you see in that he's bearish? I mean, I'm gonna assume you're correct because Burry's always bearish, but like, yeah, Burry's always bearish. All right, so Burry hasn't posted in a year or so. All right, so U.S. mortgage delinquency rates have fallen to an all-time low of 3.37%. If interest rates ever fall again, housing prices will continue to rise. Big Short 2.0 is coming. Be ready. Maybe. All right, guys. All right, so Michael Burry opened up a massive leverage short position on the market. 93% of Burry's portfolio is currently short market indexes. The last time he made a big bet like this was with his famous 2008 recession prediction. I thought Cyan closed down. But let's see how much. So basically, let's calculate how much this position is. All right, so here's Burry. All right, so Burry bought 2 million shares of SPY puts worth an estimated, wow. Is this real? Dude, that's a big position, bro. He's braver than me, man. So, okay, so what I'm showing right now, Burry bought 2 million SPY puts and 2 million Q puts. The market value of just the SPY puts alone is just under 900 million. Just under 900 million. The value on the put options for the Q is just under 800 million. That's a big bet. I don't see any of the Greeks for this, but man, again, I'm going to tell you this. Burry's issue is that he's always bearish, and he pretty regularly bets against the market. He's been screaming short for years. You know, like again, a year ago, during the FOMC meeting, right, during the Jerome Powell press conference, Burry put out a tweet. Just to give you some history here, Burry put out a tweet that just said sell. It just said sell, right? He told everybody to sell ahead of this FOMC meeting. So the FOMC meeting comes out and the market flies up. And Burry's getting some heat for it. And so what does Burry do? Burry deactivates his Twitter and basically deletes his Twitter account afterwards. And so he has bet that the market was going to crash 10, 15 times since 2008. And so I get it. People are trying to confirm what they want to happen. And maybe he's right. Again, I don't know. It's not like I'm super leveraged on the upside. You know what I mean? But like, I'm skeptical when it comes to Burry. And we'll see if he's right. Maybe he is. Let me know what you guys think, if you think he's right or wrong. All right, so yeah, because he probably deleted the tweet. What's up, Chris? I remember that vividly. I do too, man. He would be better off selling cars. Yeah, I mean, buying all those put options is just a crazy position. Yeah, I mean, again, Burry. Again, I'm not saying he's wrong, guys. Again, I'm not. It's not like I'm betting against the market, or it's not like I'm betting. It's not like I'm super leveraged on the upside. You know, I've got some swing trades, but like if the market crashed, I might lose $1,000. You know, $2,000, and I'd be okay. But like, the issue I have with Burry is that he's never. Again, there's no diversity in his predictions. Right? Like one of the things, like I argue with a lot of people here, and I understand their argument, and I'm okay with people taking the opposing side of me and like not liking the market or whatever it is. But one thing I really truly love to see in terms of stock market viewpoints is diversity. I want to see different views. I want to see some people. It's okay if you're bearish one month and then bullish the next month. It's okay if you're bearish a couple months and then bullish the next couple months. But if it's purely universally bearish, I don't trust your predictions. I think that's biased. And again, I think that's what goes on with Burry. Same thing with the long side, you know. And so I think the issue with Burry is that I think this is what I truly think happened with Burry, is that I think he got so much heat in 2008, and that made him have so much distrust for the system that now 20 years later, basically, maybe 15 years later, now he's just universally constantly bearish. He's just never bullish. He only makes bear predictions, and he makes them often. Again, this is not his first bearish prediction in the last 12 months. This is not his first big bearish play in the last 12 months. He's been consistently bearish, consistently, you know, saying the same thing essentially for the last 15 years. And so at a certain point, you know, you start to tune it out. And maybe he's right. I don't know. Maybe he was just really early 15 years ago. I don't know. But like, I'm skeptical, you know, but I'm a skeptical person naturally. Like naturally, I'm pretty skeptical of everybody and anything. I don't really trust people in general. And so, you know, maybe it's just me. Yeah, and I think AI is the one thing that might save the market. You know, like people are talking about how the market's going to crash, the market's going to crash. The problem is that AI could save the market. You know, I think AI growth in the future of AI is very established. It's very obvious. It's very clear right now that AI is not just some gimmick, that it's obviously here to stay. And the use case arguments for AI are growing exponentially. You know, and I think that's going to influence a lot of stocks on the positive end. I think a lot of stocks are benefiting from it. And I think overall, in a market like that where we could see exponential growth in AI stuff over the next few years, I think that aspect of the tech market right now could save it. It could keep it from crashing. But again, what do I know? Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know what you guys think. Equities are only I highly doubt someone in his position is playing lead puts. For some, maybe, but his portfolio would never be 100% short. That would be ignorant. Yeah, but you got to understand Burry's bias, man. He's incredibly biased. You know, he's incredibly biased. He's always bearish. That's all he ever says is bearish stuff. You know what I mean? And so, like, again, there's no diversity in his viewpoints. He's always bearish. He's never bullish. You know, and again, I think people are missing out on the big edge of the market, which is long term, the market's going to go up. Betting against the market long term is a very risky, sketchy bet that you don't want to take. You know. Could AI amplify movements, making crashes even worse? I mean, it could. Sure doesn't mean his portfolio matches. Yeah, I mean, the big thing to understand here with everything is like diversification is good. Like usually with me, like again, somebody asked me like one of my wife's family members has kind of been asking about the stocks, and again, I'm not going to go specific or be specific about anything, but like one of the things I told him, which is true, is that long term, if you're holding long term, diversify. There's no reason you shouldn't diversify long term, because again, if you diversify into gold, into big indexes like the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, the Dow, in real estate, those are the three diversifications: real estate, gold, and equities. You know, and bonds. That's probably four. So bonds, guaranteed income, guaranteed yield, although smaller. Gold, the S&P 500, Nasdaq, whichever broad market ETF, and bonds. Those four things. If you diversify to those four things and hold over 10 years, you are going to make money. You know, you are going to make money. You'll probably make money in a year, you know, but holding for over 5 years, you're almost certain to make money there. And so with that in mind, again, betting against the market long term is a risk. It's a risk that people need to understand. But like, and I get it. It's cooler. It's more fun to bet against the market and doom and gloom and crash. Especially like, I think people are biased politically. I think if they're rooting against the current political, stuff, they want the market to crash so that party looks bad. And I think that bias is powerful too. That's one of the biggest biases. Again, I'm not trying to bring up politics, but I think that's one of the biggest biases I see people have here. And again, I'm neutral, guys. So regardless of which side you're on, again, I'm not against you or for you even. I'm pretty neutral on everything. What I'm saying is like, long-term, the market's generally going to go up. And we could argue short-term price action and all that stuff, and that's fine. But like, understand nobody really knows, and we're all just kind of speculating. Why isn't the US 30 included? I mean, you can include whatever ETF, broad market ETF you want to use. Everything is a little bit different, but it's certainly subjective. Like the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, you could buy the Dow, you could buy the Q instead of the Nasdaq specifically, which is the same thing basically. One's a leveraged ETF. You could buy the SPY instead of the S&P. It's all the same. They're all basically going to do the same thing long term, which is go up. They're all going to go up long term. Now, how much they're going to go up, we don't know, but we know in 5 or 10 years, those are going to be higher than where they are now. And on average, equities appreciate about 6 to 12% a year. And so what that means is that on a bet, that's including crash statistics, right? And I've said this many times, including crash statistics, which means that on a good year, the market's going to pump up way more than 6 to 12%. And so, yeah, you got to take it when it's there and, you know, be smart. He's incredibly smart. He made a smart bet before, and everyone said he was crazy back then. When you're correct and everyone says you don't, you win big, it sure gives a person a big head. Like the mindset, everyone is stupid but me. Know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, that's probably true with him, you know, but again, the problem now is that he's made a bunch of big bets since then. You know, he's made a bunch of predictions since then that were wrong. And so I guess the point is like, okay, if you make 10 crash predictions in 20 years and you're right about one of them, your accuracy rate is 10%. You know, if you make 10 crash predictions and you're only right about one of them over a 20-year period, you got 10% accuracy over 10 years. And so sitting on everything that person says is, I'm not doing it. Again, I'm going to understand the bias there, which is bearish. And maybe he's right. Again, we'll watch it. I'm not going to just discount it completely. But again, I'm also going to be skeptical because I think you have to be. Definitely need a video sharing your theory, proving that true market does go up over time and win. I mean, I don't need a video. It's very easy. You want to know why the market goes up over time? Here's the S&P 500. Right? Here's the S&P 500. I'm going to put a weekly chart up with max. So this is the entire history of the S&P 500. Okay. In 1932, it was at $4.50 a share. Over time, over a century, almost a century, it's gone from about $4 a share all the way up to about $4,600 a share. And again, we don't even have to look at that. We can look at 20 years ago. 20 years ago, okay, right here, we were at 1,000. And so in the last 20 years, the S&P 500 has over 4x. It's about 4.5x right now. And this is all inflationary hedges, okay? We could look at gold as well. Look at gold. Here's gold /GC. Right? Here's gold. Here's the long-term chart of gold. Again, we can keep going back on this too. In 1975, gold was at $170. Now it's at 2,000 plus. You know, if we go back again, 20-year period, gold was at about $400 20 years ago. So it has 5x. Gold has 5x'd over the last 20 years. So again, it's moved a little bit faster than the S&P 500. And again, these are all inflationary hedges. Okay, so like the point I'm trying to make, and this is the point that people miss out on when they're looking at the market. This is one of the first things you need to understand about stocks. The first things you need to understand is that regardless of any bearish prediction, of any doom and gloom talk, of any market crash talk by some influencer or Michael Burry or whomever, right? Regardless of any of that stuff, the market is almost certainly going to go up long term, regardless of anything else. Right? You can look at every broad market ETF, every NASDAQ, every index fund. It's going to go up long term. You know? Now, why does it go up long term? Well, there's a lot of reasons. One of them is inflation, is that dollars are worth less as time goes on, right? And so $400 in 30 years is going to be much less money than $400 today. You know, today $1 million is a lot of money, but in 30 or 40 or 50 years, $1 million is probably not going to be that much money, you know, relatively speaking, right? And so again, it's fine to be short. It's fine to bet down, and that's fine, and I understand it. And maybe Burry's right, okay? He could be right. I'm not saying he's wrong. I don't know. What I'm saying is, like, don't get too aggressive with your short positions because, again, the natural flow of the market is up. And so, yeah. Again, here's the SPY. Here's the Q. I don't know, but Kirsten, at number one, my guess is you might be like my guess is you're probably my guess is you're probably just an alt account of somebody. But like, why watch the stream if you're just gonna hate? You know, I was actually looking for your name so I could ban you, but like, why watch the stream if you're just gonna sit around and hate? Like, why hate on somebody and then watch their stream in the morning? You know what I mean? Like, what's the purpose? What do you get from that? Genuine question. And I'm sure you're gonna be like, no, I'm real, believe me. And like, that's fine, but whatever y'all are choosing to do with y'all's life, it's all good. Maybe Burry feels he can sell all of those puts in the public and you get strike price. Yeah, maybe. I think Burry probably dreams of making a bunch of money on the Big Short. I think that's what Burry, like, imagine if you're Michael Burry, right? And like, you had your big heyday where you made billions of dollars betting against the market and everybody thought you were wrong and you were right. And the whole market had to basically credit you for predicting something that everybody thought was wrong. And you made billions of dollars from it, right? You probably look back on that pretty happily, you know. I'm sure Burry dreams of doing it again, right? But I think it's confirmation bias. I think when you want something to happen, you know, I'm sure Burry wants to get another Big Short prediction right. When you want something to happen, you overestimate the likelihood of that happening. Confirmation bias is what this is called. It means that you want to confirm what you want to happen in your analysis. And so we'll see. Why are bear haters more common than bull haters? I don't think anybody's hating here. I'm certainly not hating. I think Michael Burry's got way more money and probably intelligence than I do. And so I'm certainly not hating on him. I might disagree with his prediction, but I mean, that's okay. I think everybody not hating, just wondering why the market was so bad. Well, no, you told me I lived in a crappy apartment and that, what did you say the other day? You said I lived in a crappy apartment and I wasn't making any money and I definitely rent my home. I don't own it. And like all this crazy stuff, you know, again, it's a lot of it's very suspect with some other trolls that we've had show up on the stream and some other people who have, again, historically wanted to come on the stream and then I won't let them. And then weirdness starts to happen. But yeah, I'm sure Burry goes by stats and has quite a few more people analyzing. Yeah, for sure. Definitely more people than I do. Burry is trying to influence and selling. He's not going to influence anything majorly. Yeah. You live in my YouTube player? Hey, that's it. I'm right here. Yeah, I used to have somebody that asked me how I was in the screen, and I used to tell them I lived in Tosh charts. You know. But yeah, I mean, listen, again, I've said it before. If I really wanted to like flex my house and like brag and sell some sleazy penny stock course or something, I could. I just don't, because I'm not really about that. Like, I'd rather have privacy. I have a very nice house. I love my house, you know, very nice house. But I don't need to show you guys it because, you know, I'd rather have, I got kids, you know, I live with my kids and my wife, you know, I don't want people knowing where I sleep. You make really good points. I just wish you treated both sides. Yeah, I mean, listen, I understand the bear side too. Again, I've been telling people the market was extended before we dipped down. And anybody that knows and watches the stream understands that I've mentioned many times that leading up to this latest correction, that the market was probably a little extended on the upside. And I think it was. When it hit 460s, I think it was extended on the upside. The reason I'm mostly bullish is because I'm mostly taking, like, I day trade and I short a lot when I day trade, you know, but when I swing trade and I invest, I never short because I think that's, again, I'm only buying blue chip healthy companies and I'm not going to bet against them long term. And again, Kirsten, you're probably, my guess is some guy with a fake account right now. And again, that's fine. Hey, thank you so much, William. If you lose money in futures, can you hold it like stocks and wait until recovery? You have to settle it in a day. How does futures differ from stocks? Well, futures, you can hold it for as long as you want, but futures contracts expire every quarter. So every 3 months, futures contracts expire. So every quarter, futures contracts expire, and you got to roll them over. And so you can swing trade futures and try to hold it for months, but eventually your contracts are going to expire. Now, Top Step is day trading futures, so that's even different than what I'm mentioning here. But no, again, I'm not against bears. Like, people take that, like, again, you guys got to understand how my bias is influenced over time, and it's important to understand this, right? It really is. Like, if you want to understand, listen to what I'm about to say. All right, imagine you're like a YouTuber on in the stock market, right? And you live stream market activity every day, right? Every day you look at the market, you watch the market, you see what the market does. And imagine for years, you have people that come to your stream and basically not only tell people that the market is going to crash imminently, like soon, like immediately the market's going to crash. They pressure my followers to sell. They say, you guys better sell now. The market's going to crash now. You got to get out now. They act just like that. They pressure people to sell. And then over the next year, the market pushes up 20%, and then they still show up and they still act like they never made the bearish predictions. And that happens over and over and over again. Eventually, if y'all were me, y'all would do the same thing. Y'all would be like, hey, man, these bears keep showing up, pressuring everybody to sell, and then the market pushes up. That's toxic, And so over time, my opinion is like, you need to have diversity in your viewpoints. You could be bearish and that's fine. But if all you ever say is bearish, if every data interpretation is bearish, even though like some data is good, some data is bad, right? It's less subjective in terms of data coming out. But if every time it reports, you're somehow bearish on whatever the report. If core is worse than expected, you bring up core. If regular is worse than expected, you bring up regular. After over a certain point in time, I think that influences my bias for sure. And again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the market does crash. Michael Burry might be right. I really don't know. But I know I'm skeptical anytime people make big bearish predictions, including Michael Burry, and you should be too, because the natural flow of the market long term is up. Regardless of anything I say or anybody else says, the natural flow of the market long term is up. Why? Is because the dollars are worth less over time. And the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, gold, real estate, it's all inflationary hedges. So its sole purpose, not its sole purpose, but its purpose is to keep up with inflation long term. And that's what people use it for. That's how the wealthy use it, is to keep up with inflation long term. And so you can either sit on cash, and over time your cash will be depleted in value if you wait and just sit on cash. Or you could throw that money in the S&P 500, gold, real estate, whatever you want to do, and that money will essentially keep up with inflation long term by doing that for the most part. And so that's my bias, and I think it's very reasonable to have that bias too. Yeah, I short a lot. I listen to you every morning on the way to work. You're the most consistent trader out there with your beliefs. Hey, thank you, Mars. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you, man. You're right. There's short-term plays I make all the time. But again, they're mostly, pun intended, they're shorter trades. Like I don't hold, like, again, the way I trade, and again, every trader has a bias. All right. So it's not like I'm terrible for not betting against the market long term. The only people that'll say that are, again, bears that are shorting the market long term. The way I trade, I'm rigid in how I do it too, is I will only, in swing trading and investing, I only buy. I never short. Again, the way I swing trade is I look for stocks that are really beat up short term, and I usually buy those. If they're blue chip healthy companies, I'll buy them and I'll sit on them. And if they're down enough, generally over time, number one, they're going to go up over time regardless. But if I buy them when they're weak enough, if I buy them when they pull back hard enough, then typically I can get a really nice bounce back short term as well. And so it's kind of like this mixture of swing trading and investing. With day trading, I actually prefer bearish action. I'd actually it's much more preferable for me to short term, and I tend to do better on my short term day trades. So like short term, I like shorting the NASDAQ or shorting the S&P. Long term, my bias is long. Short term, my bias is short, to put it in perspective. Yeah, and what Pawn said is true. Bears are more emotional because they panic selling, you know. So like for instance, I've given this analogy before, and it's very true. What the market usually does is, a very common saying is that bulls take the stairs, shorts take the elevator. You know, and that's very true. What it means is that like shorts, the reality is panic is a stronger emotion than hope. And so if you want to know why stocks drop faster than they go up, it's because panic is a stronger emotion, right? Panic snowballs into a much larger move because people get nervous, they sell. When they sell, other people see it, they get nervous, they cut their positions, they get stopped out, the market drops, stopping more people out, and it kind of snowballs into like a huge drop. And that relative to like upward movements, which is kind of like slow and steady staircase, you know, that's kind of what it is. And again, I make more money shorting on the short side. If you buy the dip on a blue chip, it should return to positive at sometimes. Well, most of the time, yeah. So it's not going to do it all the time. You're going to have bad stocks, you know, that just kind of fail, you know. And if you buy the wrong ones, you can find a lot of those. Like a lot of stocks are just going to fail. The big thing you have to stop yourself from doing. Now, there's two ways to trade, right? One of them is planning on like buying and holding. The other one is trading mid caps, and you don't want to get the two mixed, right? Mid caps are not the same thing. You can invest in growth companies, but you need to invest money that you're okay with losing, because mid caps and smaller cap stocks are way more risky, which means that they can drop 70, 80, 90% in a year and become obsolete and irrelevant and obscure very quickly. And so when you invest money, you need to invest in, you can invest in both. You can invest in mid caps and you can invest in blue chips. When you invest in blue chips, as long as you diversify into a number of different ones, your money is relatively safe. I'm not saying it's perfectly safe, nothing is, but it's relatively safe diversifying into many different blue chips, buying and holding as an investment, right? You can invest in growth companies that are smaller cap as well, mid caps, and that's fine, but the money you invest in the mid caps needs to be money that you're okay with losing or taking a big loss on. And so what that means is that you need to invest smaller amounts of money in mid caps that you're okay with losing if you're going to buy mid caps and hyped up stocks that, you know, and these are stocks that have a lot of hype and attention and all this hype and everybody's all excited for these stocks, right? Those are the ones that you need to understand. You can invest small amounts of money, but you got to be okay with losing them, and you got to have risk targets and risk levels. That's an important thing. And the other last part of this is, like, if you are going to invest money or swing trade or trade, build your plan before you enter the position. If you start to build your plan after you're in the position, you tend to kind of morph it to fit what you want to happen, because confirmation bias is such a strong thing. Again, you overestimate the likelihood of what you want to happen, you know? So as an example, I want to win the lottery, you know, like I'd love to win the lottery, right? And so when I'm passing by the gas station, I'm going to overestimate the likelihood that I win the lottery. I'm going to have delusions of grandeur and say, oh, what if I win the lottery? I'm going to buy a Ferrari, you know? But the odds of winning the lottery are infinitesimally small. Like, you're not going to win the freaking lottery most of the time. But again, if you want it to happen, again, people who are addicted to it, for instance, they overestimate the likelihood. Same thing happens in stocks. So just be smart, guys. Don't push too heavy into, you know, idealized trades. Anyways, is fear of losing your money greedy? No. I mean, everybody should have a certain amount of fear. Yeah, just be smart. Again, understand, once you start to recognize that confirmation bias is a real thing, you start to, it's much harder to manipulate you. Once you start to recognize that, like, right, like I think people are manipulated in a lot of different ways, especially in the stock market, because they don't really understand confirmation bias. But like, once you start to understand it, it's very difficult to manipulate you because you understand, hey, I just want this to happen. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. Like, I want that penny stock course to be true because that means that I'm about to get rich and have financial freedom just by spending $3K on this course. I'm all of a sudden going to be some brilliant, penny stock day trader making millions every week in my account, right? I want that to be true. Most people at home want that to be true. And so what happens is people overestimate the likelihood. That's not true. Like, no matter what course you buy in penny stocks, you're not going to do that, And again, a lot of people dream it. They want it to happen. And so again, they overestimate the likelihood, and that primes them to be taken advantage of in a lot of different ways. People selling dreams, right? People selling dreams. Hey guys, buy my penny stock course. You can get rich. Just buy my course. They're selling you a dream. And if you have too much confirmation bias, like you desperately want it to be true, you're more likely to be taken advantage of in that way. SE, I was thinking about buying SE right here. And I didn't because SE's got a rough long-term chart. But I was thinking about buying it right around 49s. And so I would have made money on it, a couple dollars a share at least. But at this point in time, again, I think the risk is a little bit too up there. The long-term chart of SE is just really, really nasty long-term chart, man. This thing has dropped from almost $400 down to $57. It's a rough chart. Under 50 right now. It's at 49 bucks. And I'm sorry, I bumped my mic. So that's a rough looking chart. Yeah, I don't know where it's a good swing or not on SE. I really don't know. The SPY is starting to dip down. We can look at like Tesla. I know Tesla's been on a little dip too. Tesla at 230s. Again, I'm just kind of sitting in it. All right, GNS. Is it a penny stock? What is it? Yeah, it's a penny stock. I mean, it's up a lot. But again, I mean, look at the long-term chart. And the same thing, like with confirmation bias, the same thing goes with investing in these crap companies, right? Like, you might say, hey guys, if I buy 1,000 shares of this and it goes crazy, I could be rich. And that's true, but the likelihood that it goes crazy is very, very low. And so again, people tend to overestimate the likelihood of that happening, and they end up investing their money into just crap because they desperately want them to squeeze crazy high. And they think just because they have a small account that they have to buy this stuff. You don't. And then maybe it goes up, but like, just be smart, guys. This actually had a decent little move. It's up like a couple 100% since the 4th. So last 11 days, it's up a couple 100%. So that's a big move. As long as you're not investing long-term, you can play moves like this. Just be smart. This thing's not going to succeed long-term, most likely. Most penny stocks fail. DCTH predictions. I mean, I don't know anything about them. Yeah, I mean, it's gone from $8 back in July all the way down to $3. So it's dropped over 50% in the last couple months. And so I just don't trust DCTH. I don't know what it is. SPY breaking lows of the day, though. So look at the SPY break lows here, guys. So the SPY starting to crack the lows down to 445.01s. And I think Top Step is starting to finally open up purchases to people on their mailing list, guys. So if you haven't already, the first sponsor I have, check out Moomoo. Again, if you open up an account and deposit on Moomoo, they give you 5 free stocks with at least a $100 deposit. And their platform is great. They have like these really nice screeners. You can check out economic calendars to see what's going on in markets, earnings. You can see Home Depot. You can kind of look at all these different numbers, see what they showed up as. You can kind of see also that you can build different scanners. I can look at a heat map here, and you can see all these different colors of like what the market's doing in pre-market, after hours, different IPOs, all that good stuff. I can check out the news in the market here as well. And so just really, really useful trading stuff. And again, if you zero commission in stocks, open the entire time of pre-market, and if you open up an account and deposit at least $100, you get 5 free stocks. You open up a deposit over 1,000, you get 15 free stocks. You open up a deposit over 5K, you get the previous 15 plus a free share of Google or Tesla. And so really nice platform. You can check them out. They are a sponsor of mine. I'm biased in their favor, but here's the link if you want to check them out. Again, great way to help support the channel. So we had C Limited for earnings. We had C Limited, and we also had Home Depot. So again, C Limited and Home Depot both released their numbers here. C Limited was mixed with their numbers. Home Depot beat estimates. So here's HD. It's at 329.40s, guys. 329.40s. Here's Home Depot's numbers right here. All right, so again, retail sales earnings today. Retail sales and earnings today should be pretty big, guys. It should be pretty fun. All right, so yeah, we had others today. So again, Home Depot beat on both metrics, and SE came in mixed as for their results. At 10-cent music. All right, so Europe launches its first Bitcoin ETF spot. Bitcoin ETF, that is. So, all right, again, we're going to post this number here, guys. So again, if you want to see all the big earnings today, you can kind of check it out here. So again, have a heart and hit the heart button on this Twitter post, guys. Check it out. Again, it gives you a full breakdown of all the earnings today, what happened, what numbers came out from Earnings Whisper. And so again, hit that heart button on that page. We definitely appreciate it. Thank you so much. I don't know about cannabis companies, but the businesses in Oklahoma are losing value. Well, I mean, I'm sure it probably depends on where it is, man. You know, like you got to have it, like any retail thing, right? Any retail store, there's going to be two things that you have to consider, regardless of what the niche is, right? There's two things you have to consider: foot traffic and just traffic in general, like how many people pass by your place, and like what the population of is this in the city you're in. If you're in Oklahoma and it's a really small city, it's gonna be really hard to get sales. Doesn't matter how good it is, what the prices are, it's gonna be really hard to get sales. It's gonna be really hard to justify the fees and the expenses of running a business like that if you don't get enough people there. And so Oklahoma, I guess the big thing with any business there would be where it is. All right, guys, retail sales data in about 40 minutes, guys. 40 minutes retail sales data. Oh, I don't know, Doe. I don't use Intraday very much. Yeah, I mean, that might be what the issue is. Again, it's all about location, man. I think a lot of people get business wrong. And that, like, a lot of people, they start a business and, like, they save up their money and they want to start a business. And You know, they keep saving up their money to start the business. And because they don't really have that much money, they kind of take shortcuts and they end up getting businesses in like maybe sketchy parts of town or low traffic parts of, you know, town. And again, that is the recipe for failure in any business. Like, don't just start a business to seem like you're an entrepreneur. Don't just open up a shop on any random quarter. It depends on what the business is. There's a lot of differences in sectors and niches of business, right? But you can't just throw a business up anywhere and expect it to succeed. There's a reason you got to pay more for good traffic. And again, that's something that you really got to consider. You got to pay more for good traffic. Dave and Buster's. Yeah. I mean, you got to have, there's a lot of necessities there for that type of business. So yeah, you got to go through a lot. Point is, don't just kind of spontaneously start a business and expect it to succeed. You got to research that stuff, man. Yep, 100% smoke. Even a great business in the wrong place will fail. You know, and so it's really important. Like, again, if you're going to start a brick and mortar business, especially now when retail is a struggle, you got to just make sure you just got to make sure you do it right. You know, you got to make sure that you put it up at the right space. You got to make sure you advertise it, and you got to make sure that, you know, it's the right move. Some say malls are going away, and then the new largest mall in the world came out. Malls are still a thing because young people want to be there. Anytime you got young people that want to be there, malls are going to be fine. The businesses that are going to struggle the most, and the thought experiment you got to have with it is like the businesses that are going to struggle the most are going to be businesses in which online shopping replaces the business, you know, and that's a lot of different niches. You know, one of the reasons, like, for instance, Bed Bath & Beyond's failure is very obvious. I think when you zoom out and you look at it, obviously Bed Bath & Beyond was going to fail. There's nothing they could do. Like, the technology has evolved to where you don't need Bed Bath & Beyond location anymore. You sit at your house, you can get that stuff shipped to you within 24 hours. You don't have to go anywhere. And so that is bad. And again, if you want to see what businesses are ultimately going to fail, look at what online shopping replaces. You know, bookstores, Barnes & Noble, probably not going to do that great moving forward. There's a lot of different niches that are going to be a struggle, you know, and your job is to figure out the ones that, you know, maybe there's some short options. I think Dish is going to fail, personally, myself. Again, I think Dish and AT&T, I don't think they're going to fail. I think Dish might fail, right? I think Dish is one that might fail. AT&T will probably stick around because they're diversified to where it's not just one part of their business. It's not the only part of their business. So I think they'll be okay. But Dish, I think, is probably going to fail long term. You know, like, I'm talking long term. I'm talking in 20 years, Dish is probably not going to be here. But who knows what's going to happen leading up. Maybe it runs, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong there too. Well, yeah, malls are big because young people. All right, so again, SPY at 445s. We still got 30 minutes, guys. 30 minutes until this data comes out. 30 minutes here before retail sales data drops. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're asking, Mark. Pages set up. What do you mean pages? JKS? What is JKS? Yeah, I mean, this has a very rough long-term trend, though. Yeah, the long-term trend's pretty rough. Right. Streaming conglomerates, 100%. And again, I maybe I'm wrong. I mean, there's obviously, like, I could obviously be wrong. You know what I mean? But I don't think I am, and I think it's something that it's kind of obvious at a certain point that, like, hey, like, these satellite companies are not going to have business in 10 years. You're not going to need them anymore. Again, streaming is growing so fast. Streaming and everything, right? So streaming is growing so fast in terms of no contract based carriers that you don't need satellite anymore. You still use satellite. I think internet satellite might grow with you know, Starlink and stuff like that. All right, guys. SPY breaking lows again, leading into the retail sales data. I guess the big question today is with retail sales data dropping, does the market want higher or lower retail sales? Again, the market went higher or lower retail sales data? Again, do me a favor, hit the like button as well, guys. We got about 400 people here. Still got about 30 minutes left until the data release. Again, with retail sales data dropping, again, we're going to post this poll. Again, vote on this poll right here. So we got this poll going live right now. If you haven't already, vote on this poll. We appreciate it. Here's the link. Check it out. Basically, there's a couple different ways to use it. Like, so basically, if inflation is bad, the numbers, the market's going to want lower retail sales numbers. If recession fears are there, the market's going to want higher retail sales numbers. And again, I don't know. I don't know what the market wants. And sometimes with stuff like this, it's a little bit different. It varies. When I open some pages, layouts, others will disappear. I can't. You probably have to do this, Mark. So let me show you, man. So if I pull the screen up here, right? And I go to the trade screen. Like for instance, I can go to this screen here. I can go to this screen here. And if I want to take this page off, right? So like say I add John work setup right here. And I want to take this page off. I click it and I drag it. And then I let it go. All right, then I can take this page and I can move it. Let's let it load. I can take this page and then I can move it out the way. And then I have this page. And if you want to find it, like if you lose it, you hold your mouse over this button and you can figure out where it is on the screen. And so I hope that makes sense. Yeah, Disney's down to 87.90s. And again, we don't really have that much of Disney now. If it dips down enough, we will buy it up. We already capitalized on Disney and sold at the 91s, 92s. Yeah, when it hit 92.30s, we ended up cutting out of it. And so we're out of Disney for the most part. We got a little piece. We have 5 shares right now. So not the biggest, not the worst thing in the world, but remember, guys, Elon Musk is not giving away any crypto. If you see somebody claiming that Elon Musk is giving away crypto, it is a scam. Do not use it. Do not click it. It's a scam. All right, guys, my Twitter vote on what does the market want, higher or lower retail sales, is 50-50 split, guys. 50-50 split. Again, we'll see what happens. But yeah, we're watching the market. Higher? Yeah, we'll see. Put up. Put this up here. Dude. Trading View, man, they're crazy. Let me pull up Quant Tower. All right, so market's at 445s. Do we finally get a bounce? We still got 20 minutes before retail sales data comes out. I'm not sure what the market's fearing. Typically, like I think the market's been a little bit random lately, so where it's really hard to figure out what the market's fearing or wanting with all this stuff coming out. I think it's very difficult to figure that out. All right, guys. Let's try to make some money today. We'll see. Yeah, we're sitting kind of tight here waiting for the data to come out, guys. We still got 20 minutes or so. Well, the market bounced right now. Part of me thinks the market could bounce here. What are we watching? The NASDAQ, the S&P. SPY at 445. So we're watching the Dow too. We do have a lot of bullish signals here, but the market just keeps flushing down ahead of this retail sales data release. Dow trying to break down. We're watching the SPY as well. Again, it's consolidating though. So here's the SPY down at 444. 90s, basically 445s. I also want to put up the Q. We can also look at like gold. How's gold doing today? So here's gold, GLD. Gold is down slightly here, so it could be worse. I made some money shorting Q after the run up yesterday. Zoom out a bit and market will show you direction. Happy to have a yeah. Yeah, I saw the Michael Burry position, which is kind of a crazy big position here, in all honesty, man. That's a big boy position. Yeah, Michael Burry took down like a couple billion dollar position here, which is kind of out there. Again, market's starting to pop up a little bit here. SPY bouncing back up at 445s. You probably already took profit. I don't think Michael Burry's influencing the market. Do you know how difficult it is to influence like the S&P 500, for instance? Like, do you know how hard that is? Like, a lot of people don't understand like float and like what all that stuff means. Like, I used to have a guy that would come to my stream and he would say, "Hey guys, if we all buy Apple right now, we can help it go up, guys. Buy Apple. If we all buy it at the same time, Apple's gonna go up." And I was always just like, dude, like, look up the float of Apple, right? What's Apple's float? Apple has 16 billion shares in the float. 16 billion shares in the float. So like the point is like we could all buy Apple at one point, and like it's not gonna do anything. You know, same thing with Michael Burry. As big of a following as Michael Burry has, he's not influencing the Q or the SPY really like that. He might influence it a little bit, but he's definitely not like influencing the position and then selling right now to take profit from his own influence. He just doesn't have enough to really influence those markets like that. And so that's the thing to understand, is like he just doesn't have that influence. Warren Buffett might be able to, yeah, but Burry's not. I got a nice little pop-up here. Four 445.20s. That's why the Alice guys play low float stocks 100%. It's crazy how you still got people defending those guys, though. Like, again, confirmation bias is such a strong thing, man, where it's like you can literally say, hey, everybody, buy this crappy penny stock and pump the stock up, and then the stock crashes after they pump it up, and you still got people defending that behavior. Like, again, if you act like you're somebody's guru or mentor, they'll never see any wrong. And again, that's an issue. I think, again, don't trust me either. Like, don't trust anybody. I'm a big believer in just not trusting freaking anybody. And I don't trust anybody either. All right, so we got a little green trade, man. Look at that bounce. And again, are we going to keep bouncing is the question. I don't know. Retail sales are down on metals. When gurus fail, they all cry manipulation. Hey, what's up, Elvin? Won't Burry news make a ton of other traders go short? Maybe, but it's not going to be enough to really influence the securities that he's talking about. Like, it's not going to be enough to really influence the SPY or Q like that. Again, the SPY and Q are huge exchange traded funds, and so, you know, he's just not going to have the buying power to influence it. Hey, man, what's up, dude? Love you, buddy. You doing okay? Have a good day at school, man. Love you, man. Oh, you got that? Here, be gentle, Manny. Come on. Love you. Yeah, my kids have been fighting. Not actually fighting, but just arguing. When gurus fail, they all cry manipulation. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, you can short whatever you guys want. I'm not against shorting anything. Like, do whatever you guys want to do. I mean, I don't take some positions. Like, I avoid certain types of positions there, guys. And I think that it should be a very understandable thing for everybody to kind of avoid certain positions in markets and trading. But like, it doesn't mean there's no edge. And if you could find an edge, do your thing. You know, I'm not against that. Yeah, they love each other, man. Like, my kids love each other. They bicker back and forth just because they're brother and sister. I had an older sister, so I really understand that. Like, kids bicker back and forth. It's normal, you know. But like, they love each other, you know. They have a lot of empathy. Like, with kids, the big thing that you want in children, and this is something that I always told my wife, and it's very true with anything. With kids, you want them to have empathy. Like, as long as your child has empathy, they're okay. You know what I mean? Like, empathy is the one differentiating factor between narcissism, between psychopaths, between sociopaths. Like, the one differentiator is empathy. Like, does your child have empathy for other people and other animals and everything? Do they have empathy? If they do, then you're doing okay. You know, if they don't, that's an issue. You know. So you can use TradingView on Top Step, reclaim. So yeah, you can use TradingView on Top Step. I think at least you could a couple weeks ago. I know they had some issues with Tradeovate lately, but you should be able to. But I'm not 100% sure. I would reach out to them first. And if you want to check out Top Step, again, here's the link. They currently changed it to where you can reset for just $49. We got a little dip. I'm watching the Dow. I traded the Dow a little bit this morning too. Most important feeling for building a successful life, I think. Yeah, I mean, it's the biggest thing. Like, you got to have empathy. If you don't have empathy, again, that's an issue, you know. And what I mean by empathy, if you guys don't understand, is like, you got to feel sorry. Like, you have to care about people. You have to care about beings, you know. And I know both my kids have empathy, because anytime my daughter gets in trouble, my son feels bad and tries to take the blame for it. So like, my daughter will get in trouble, my son will say, no, she didn't mean to do it. You know, don't let her get in trouble, and he'll try to like take the heat from her. You know, he also feels bad if he like forgets to hug you, and he'll make sure he'll come back and like give you a hug or whatever it is. And so my son and daughter both have empathy. My daughter also has a lot of empathy. If she accidentally hurts my son playing, she feels terrible, and like, you know, so it's good. My kids have empathy. That's the base thing that you want. All right, we got a little dip here again. The question is, do we bounce back up? Do we move back up? Yeah, I see Michael Burry taking that $1 billion plus position and put options on the Q and the S&P and the SPY. So Burry shorting the Q. He's shorting the SPY. Retail sales data, guys. 8 minutes. 8 minutes. I don't know what number is going to make the market positive. I really don't know. Yeah, I don't know. When did Burry do that? Was it June? Some people are saying he did it in June, and they're just now reporting it. Again, guys, retail sales data dropping in 8 minutes. A little bit over 8 minutes, but retail sales data dropping today. Core retail sales is the big one, guys. So core retail sales is really like the big one that you want to pay attention to over base retail sales. Again, retail sales expected at 0.4%. Core retail sales expected at minus 0.3%. So retail sales data coming out. Or I guess they're both maybe relatively decent size. Yeah, so core retail sales data dropping. Expectations for core data is minus 0.3% versus a gain of 0.2% in the previous month. Again, minus 0.3% for core retail sales. Regular retail sales is expected at 0.4%. 0.4% for base retail sales. Again, core is expected at minus 0.3%. Regular is expected at 0.4%. And again, that data drops at about 8 minutes here, guys. About 8 minutes. You'll get it pretty quick here, Adam. I never give up my sources for finding this stuff, but the reason we get a decent amount of people here every day. I see some other people trying to act like they get it faster. They don't. I'm usually the fastest person that reports it, in my opinion. And so again, the reason we get a bunch of people here on these streams is because we cover the data generally very quickly, as fast as we can. And yeah. Again, guys, a couple minutes here, a couple minutes. Again, you can vote on our poll real quick before the poll ends. 64.5% are saying lower is what the market wants. 35.7% say higher. Yeah, I mean, you could look at Market Watch if you want to check it when I'm not live, but that's not where I use to get the fast data. So, I mean, you could look at Market Watch or somewhere, but there's a lot of places. Any major news source is going to report on the retail sales in terms of like finance. What do you think about investing in nuclear fusion? It's something that I don't really know super well, and so I usually try to stay away from it just because I don't know it. I don't know it super well. You know. All right, guys, 4 minutes or 6 minutes here until the data release. Really a little bit under that. About 5.5 minutes. All right, guys, couple minutes here, team. All right, we're at 445.17s. We got about 4 minutes left, or about 5 minutes exactly left, guys. Make sure you hit the live button next to the play button to make sure you're fully caught up. And again, if you want to vote on the poll that we have for retail sales data, here is that link. You can check it out. There's the poll for retail sales data. Yeah, I heard about I heard about U.S. Steel rejecting the buyout offer for C-Up from Cleveland Cliffs. Again, vote on the poll. There's the post right there. Quick question, John. Is every data release important? I mean, what do you mean? No offense, Raphael, but that question doesn't really make much sense. It's very subjective. How importance is subjective, you know? And so every data release is probably not going to be important for most people. You know, the major ones are the biggest ones. Again, those CPI, PPI, retail sales is somewhat important. FOMC rate hike decisions and meetings, all that stuff. Like those are generally very important. Earnings releases are important. You know what I mean? But like importance is subjective. What I find important might be something that other people don't find important. It also fluctuates in terms of actual like interest. So at any point in time, a CPI report might be really important or less important depending on what happens. And so, it varies. It depends. It really just depends. Yeah, not all are super important, but all right, guys, we got 3.5 minutes here. 3.5 minutes. My question: does every single data release affect the course of the market? To a certain extent, yes. Again, it could be the smallest release ever. It could be the most obscure release ever. It could be Canada CPI, smallest and most insignificant release ever. But if it influences one person to make a trade, then it does affect the course of the market, right? Now, to what degree, we don't know. But the big ones are the ones that are really going to influence the market short term. So like CPI, FOMC meetings, Jerome Powell press conferences, PPI, PCE, GDP, unemployment. The big releases are the ones that are going to highly influence the market. And the smaller ones are going to have less of an influence, although always they're going to have some influence over it. But, some are bigger than others, I guess is the point. All right, guys, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Yeah, the big ones are the ones you want to definitely watch. Like CPI is huge. It's something you want to pay attention to. CPI, PPI, FOMC. Jerome Powell has a big influence over the market, so you want to pay attention when he speaks during anything and everything. He's supposed to speak at the Jackson Hole Conference later this month. We're going to stream that. We're going to cover it, and we're going to have thousands of people here. And so it's a big influence, and we'll cover it. Yeah. All right, guys, a minute and a half left here. A minute and a half left. We got about 700 people here. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Get ready. Market's bounced all the way back to the volume-weighted average price here, guys. And so here's gold on the right. We're going to put the Q and the SPY up so we can kind of get an edge on markets in general. Here's the Q. Here's the SPY. We're watching that here, and we'll see what happens. Looking at our polling numbers ahead of this report. We got about 36% saying higher is what the market wants. 64% are saying lower on Twitter. If we look at YouTube, we got about 700 votes. 50% roughly, 48% are bullish on this report. 40% are bearish. 47% are bullish. 40% are bearish. 13% say, I don't know. NVIDIA is flying up. Guys, remember to hit the live button next to the play button as well. NVIDIA is ripping up. Make sure your play button looks like this, guys. All right, you want to make sure your play button looks like this. You want to make sure it's red. All right, here's the release. We still got 30 seconds. So we still got 30 seconds before the actual numbers. It drops at 8:30. It's 7:29 right now. So we got about 20 seconds. Make sure your live button is red to make sure you're fully live on the stream. NVIDIA is flying up. 20 seconds, guys. 20 seconds. We are also going to throw this in sub-only mode. So if you have not already subscribed, guys, we definitely appreciate it. Hit that sub button. Hit the notification bell. Thank you so much. All right, here's the report. All right, guys. We did have the New York State Manufacturing Index. Retail sales came in at 0.7%. 0.7%. Much higher than expected at 0.7% for base retail sales. Core retail sales came in at 1% gain versus a minus 0.3% expected number. So retail sales numbers came in higher than expected universally today, with base retail sales coming in at 0.7 versus 0.4%. Core retail sales coming in at 1% versus minus 0.3% expected. And so universally, retail sales came in higher than expected. The market is not liking this so far. Again, retail sales came in higher than expected on all the different metrics. The big issue, another one of the issues, could be the New York Empire State Manufacturing Index came in at minus 19 today, guys. Minus 19 versus minus 1 expected. And so the state of manufacturing is in a much worse state ultimately than expected here. And so again, retail sales came in higher than expected on both metrics. Again, 0.7% for month over month base retail sales versus 0.4% estimates. And the the core retail sales, excluding food and energy, came in at 1% gain versus a minus 0.3% loss here. And again, we're going to put all this up on screen. Canada CPI came in at 4.8% as well. So Canadian CPI did just drop today, and it came in at 0.6% month over month versus 0.3% expected. And year over year, it came in at 3.3% versus 0.3% expected, or 3% expected. So again, the market is not liking this so far. It has dropped down a little bit, but retail sales universally were higher than expected, including both core and regular. And again, we're going to put these numbers up on screen again. 0.7% versus 0.4% expected for retail sales. Core retail sales came in at core retail sales came in at 1% versus minus 0.3% expected. Again, 1% versus minus 0.3% expected for core. And here's the data release right here, guys. And again, we cover this stuff fast. Again, thousands of people, or we get hundreds or thousands of people here because we cover this data very quickly. And so again, today, retail sales were higher than expected. The New York City Manufacturing Index did show much worse state of manufacturing than expected at minus 19 versus minus 1 expected. That's relevant as well. But again, the market hasn't really done too much. Like, it dropped, but it's not a huge drop. And so again, we still got, this could rebound back up. It doesn't mean anything yet. This is just the initial reaction here. And so, yeah, we'll see. And again, if you haven't already, check out Top Step, guys. Top Step recently started opening up purchases for specifically for people on the wait list. And if you don't know Top Step, if you want to day trade, the cheapest way to do so, in my opinion, and it's subjective, and they are sponsoring me, and so I'm biased, but the cheapest way to day trade and the way with the least amount of risk is a funded account program. Most day traders lose money. If you put the money up yourself, you're probably going to lose if you're just now learning to trade. One of the ways to limit that risk is to take a funded account program. And in futures, the patterns in the futures market is very similar to the patterns in Apple, Amazon, Disney, but there's no PDT restrictions in futures, and you can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, currencies, the Dow, gold, silver, all that good stuff with no PDT rule. And it's very similar to day trading stocks. You can buy market, sell market, buy bid, all that stuff, but there's no PDT rule. And the most legit way to do this is a funded account program like Top Step. They give you a demo and they test your skill. The base one's a $50K demo, and it costs $49 right now. $50K demo for $49. If you can hit $3K in profit on that $50K demo without losing over $2K, a 2 to 3 ratio, which is reasonable, they fund you $50K with a 90% split, and you get to keep your first $10,000 in profit. And Top Step is the gold standard of funded programs. They pay out millions and fund thousands of traders every single year. Most people are going to lose in day trading, and whether they're on Top Step or not, most day traders are going to lose, but it's much cheaper to lose a Top Step account, still have some pressure. You know, if you pass these tests, the reward's the same. And so it's basically the same with 90% split, and you get to keep your first 10K. And so it's the best of both worlds. It's limited risk, but if you're good enough to pass it, you know, you can get much more. If you want to check them out, great way to help support the channel. Here's the link. They are a sponsor of mine. I'm biased in their favor, of course, because they pay me money. But again, a great sponsor of mine, great way to help support the channel. The most legit funded program in the world. Check them out. NVIDIA flying up still at 447s, guys. 447s for NVIDIA here. Huge movement up. And almost 448s for NVIDIA, man. Look at NVIDIA over the last couple of days. Just crazy big runs. If we put up like a 10-minute chart or a 10-day chart, this is NVIDIA's bounce back over the last couple of days. It's been a crazy big bounce as well. Right, exactly, Smokey. Top Step is a good self-assessment. If you can't succeed on Top Step, revisit your skills before you risk your livelihood. 100%, man. That's what a lot of people don't understand. People are like, oh, well, why don't I just get a demo account? It's like they're missing the point, is that you can limit your risk in this, where it's like if you lose, it's not the end of the world. You're down $50, you know, but if you can pass it, the rewards are very similar to putting the money up yourself. And so it's the best of both worlds, in my opinion. Check it out. Yeah, very strong retail sales data. And again, the market's finally starting to bounce back here. Again, the market's very strongly bouncing back now. Here's NVIDIA at 447.70s for NVIDIA, 447.70s. The SPY is ripping back up, though. It looks good. 445.50s right now on the SPY. It looks strong. All right, so market is testing the volume weighted average price on the VWAP here, guys. The SPY is testing the VWAP here. Here, I'm going to end this poll right now. We got about 750 votes. I'm going to end this poll. And we're going to do another poll here. And the question is going to be, does the market rebound now after higher retail sales data? Yes or no? Does the market rebound now after higher retail sales data? Let me know. All right, guys. So again, we're kind of sitting tight. Yeah. And again, another one of my sponsors, guys, is a company called Chart Prime. It's a company called Chart Prime. It's a trading view indicator service. And again, you can kind of see how powerful this is. So you can see Chart Prime, it's like 35 bucks a month right now, I think is what it costs, like 35 bucks a month. And you can use my promo code, I think, if you want to as well. Let me make sure, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 35 bucks a month. And again, you can kind of see how powerful this is. So this gives you custom trading view alerts. So you can use it in stocks, crypto, Forex, futures, whatever security you want to trade, you can probably use it on. And again, look, you can see the failing wedge here, the falling wedge. Very powerful, very useful here. Let me make sure we got other stuff. Hold on, let me make sure. Bear with me here, guys. So you can look at chart patterns, you can look at market dynamics, and there's just so much different stuff that they offer here. My favorite couple ones are the Market Oracle and the Market Oracle Pro. And so, like, for instance, if you look at this, look, here's the rising wedge that they show you, and you can see how powerful this is too. Like, look, top of the wedge, reversal down signal, and this is a 5-minute chart, so you get that reversal over literal hours. Look, strong reversal signal here. Look at the huge breakdown. And then again, possible reversal up signal here. Nice bounce. It gives you the strong signal here, and it keeps going up. And then the reversal down signal here, literally called the top, drops. Strong buy signal here. Huge bounce. And so I can't fake that accuracy. I can't fake that. It's incredibly useful. And again, it's a sponsor of mine. They've been a sponsor of mine for a long time. It's very cheap. It's just custom trading view signals, powerful ones at that. I can't guarantee you're going to make money. Nobody can, but again, just incredibly useful. And again, I use it on my Top Step combines a lot. And so if you want to check it out, again, you can get it for like 40 bucks a month, a little bit less than that. Check out the link right there. All right, so again, market's kind of sideways. Nvidia has popped up a lot though from this report. And so again, Nvidia has moved up a lot from this report. Again, we'll see if it holds. All right, so we got a little bit of gains here on Top Step today too. Again, does the market go up or down today, guys? Let me know what you guys think. Market's dipping back down. Nvidia is helping the market right now. Let's look at the support level right here. Yeah, and what I usually do is, like, I put Chart Prime up, and I have 4 different securities that I watch. I watch the E-mini, the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P 500 E-mini on 2 different time frames. I watch it on a 1-minute and a 5-minute time frame. What I noticed is that the Market Oracle Pro is typically better on a shorter term time frame, and the regular Market Oracle is typically better on a longer term time frame. But it varies. And again, that's the way I like using it. That's the one that I find there's an edge in. So again, look at this little support level that we drew, and look at the pullback bounce right to it here. The top of this range will be interesting at 448s for Nvidia. But again, you can kind of see Nvidia just pump up here. It's almost a 448s right now. Just a huge move. Definitely a red day in markets here. So again, we'll see what the market does. How long to try what? To try to get funded on Top Step. I mean, there's no minimum time, or there's no maximum time. You can try for as long as you want. Yeah, let's see what the market does. I'm ready. We'll see if the market gives us anything good or bad. The S&P 500 is something that I'm also keeping an eye on as well. Let's see if we can trade a little bit too. And so again, you can kind of see my gains today on the S&P. We are up about 130 on the day. We got a little cushion. We can take larger risks now whenever we get a good, a good movement. John, you ever write off a wash sale stock? What do you mean? Well, the wash sale means you can't trade more than one, or you can't trade a security and write off the losses that you've made money back on, right? So like if I buy the SPY and I lose $1,000, and then on the next trade I make $1,000, so I'm flat, I can't write off the first $1,000 loss like I lost that money because I actually made it right back on the next trade. So we're actually flat instead of down 1,000. So I can't write off that $1,000 because it's on the same security. That's the wash sale rule. All right, so again, look at NVIDIA in this very choppy sideways neutral range here. So again, we'll see if it holds, but very choppy neutral sideways range. Yeah, I've written off losses. I mean, doesn't everybody? I mean, why? You can write off up to $3,000 a year in losses in specific sectors, you know. So I mean, why not? Shouldn't you? All right, so again, we're kind of sitting tight. We're bouncing back up to the VWAP level here. Very choppy price action, guys, so y'all just be careful. We do have a higher low, which is typically a pretty good signal here. So we have the higher low. Here's the previous low. There's another higher low. That's a bullish sign. But again, especially if you look at like NVIDIA, we've been pretty flat here on NVIDIA. We're not really moving much. Yeah, Home Depot retail sales data. So it's interesting. So retail sales data came in better than expected. The Dow is still looking pretty strong. I'm watching the Dow too. I don't really trade the Dow a lot, but they all move pretty similar. So like the Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ, you know, they all move very similar to each other. Bro, why is the market down? Any special news? No, not really. I mean, retail sales data came in higher than expected. Manufacturing, the New York manufacturing index came in much worse than expected. So the state of manufacturing was red. But so far, the market was down prior to any of this data release here. So the market really dumped overnight. You know, and if we want to look at like why the market dumped, let's see if we can figure it out. So let me look at some of the news today. Resale sales data. Home Depot came in with numbers. So if we look at like Home Depot, NVIDIA finally dipping under that range. Here's Home Depot. They reacted negatively to earnings. We also had C Limited. They reacted negatively to earnings. You Interest rates overseas in China were slashed as July economic data signals a sharper downturn. That's probably why the market fell so quickly overnight. In global trading today, the major Asian stock market ended mixed. Europe was lower at midday, and the U.S. stock futures were down. Yesterday, the market activity was okay. Again, Tesla chips are up big, or not Tesla chips, NVIDIA microchips are up pretty big here. So like if you look at NVIDIA, that is helping the market. But market's still somewhat red, down to 445.40s. Yeah, import prices were up. All right, again, SPY over the volume weighted average price now. So the SPY up to 445.50 here, 445.50 on the SPY. All right, so Binance filed a court order against the SEC. NVIDIA is looking nice. See if the market bounces back. It's starting to rebound a little bit. If we look at like the Q here, which is a little bit more tech heavy, Q at 368.60s. Yeah, I mean, Michael Burry shorted a couple $2 billion position. I don't know if that's influencing the market super negatively, though. I mean, it's going to influence the market some, but I don't know if it's big enough of a release to influence the market negatively. It might be. I don't know. All right, SPY at 445.50, 445.50. PayPal at 62.70s, guys, 62.70s. All right, so again, here's the SPY pulling back to the VWAP here. It looks like a bounce play, though. I don't know if it is, but it looks like a bounce play. Maybe not. Maybe it's dipping down. Again, I don't know for sure, of course. Look at that dip. So I'm definitely wrong there. But yeah, Michael Burry, again, he was famously known for the big short that he took against the housing market and really against the market in general back in 2006 or 2007 is when he actually took the position. That didn't pay off until like 2008. Again, the problem with Burry is that he has been bearish 20 times since then. He has made bearish predictions. He said the market was going to crash. Again, at the FOMC meeting not that long ago, he told everybody to sell, and then the market flew up, and then he deactivated his Twitter, and, you know, that's basically what happened. And so, again, Burry being bearish is not like the craziest news in the world. You know, everybody kind of knows Burry is bearish. The question is, does it pay off this time? And I don't know. I don't know, guys. Market's kind of flat right now, although it is down some. All right, so we are breaking down. We're at 445s right here, guys. 445s. Let's see if the market holds that 445 level. Again, I'm not really taking any positions right now. Let's look at this level here. We're creeping up to that level now on the SPY. We still got about 30 minutes before the market opens. All right, team. Let's see if we hold. Again, so far the market trend since the retail sales data has been this: down, up, down, up, down. All right, so the question is, where does the market go now? That's the market trend right now. Same thing on the Q. The Q is basically the same: down, up, down, up, down. Where do we go? Does the market move up, down, sideways from now? I really don't know here, team. Let me know what you guys think. John, how much would Burry have made just on the overnight dip on the SPY at the position size that was mentioned? He would make a lot, relatively speaking. But for him, it's not a lot, though, is the thing you have to understand. Like, for him, making $1 million or $2 is not like, you know, the greatest thing ever. You know what I mean? He's going to want to make more. He can make a couple mil, and that's fine, and that's great. But I don't think it's about a couple million for him. You know what I mean? I think he's going to try to make much more from that position. And again, we'll see if he does. But yeah, I think that's the thing to understand. It's like, he made a couple mil. That's great. But I think he's going to want more. All right, so again, we're going to be day trading the NASDAQ currencies, gold, silver. We still have about 30 minutes before the market opens. You got some retail sales pumps. All right, guys. So yeah, we're sitting tight here, waiting for something good to happen. See if we get some good action here, but the market's pretty flat, so I would just be careful. The movement that we're getting right now is not the most favorable looking movement, in all honesty, for me personally. You know, it's not the best movement I'm seeing right now. Maybe we get some good stuff, but I don't know. I trade futures because there's no PDT in futures. You can day trade and short the futures market with no PDT restriction. But again, we trade futures because there's no PDT rule. You can effectively day trade short the S&P, the NASDAQ, currencies, gold, silver, and there's no PDT rule in futures. You can day trade as much as you want without PDT restriction. I mean, and again, Top Step, the most legit funded program in the world, where they give you a demo, they test your skill. Just being in that challenge is a skill building thing. And that's what people don't understand. It's like being in this challenge, build your skill 100%. Like, definitely build your skill. They have free funding coaches as well, although there is a wait list to get one, but there's free funding coaches. Again, they give you a demo, and if you can pass their testing, they fund you $50K plus with a 90% split, and you get to keep your first $10K in profit. So it really is the best of both worlds, where you have limited risk, in my opinion, and it's subjective, but limited risk. But the reward is, you know, basically you get a 90% split if you're funded in your first 10K anyway. And so the risk is much lower, but the reward is very similar. So you can check it out here if you haven't already. What do you think about oil futures? Oil futures are pretty volatile. I don't usually trade them. I try to stick to what I know, which is the S&P 500 and NASDAQ volatility. I don't really know futures volatility, so I usually stick with like the NASDAQ, the E-mini, the NQ, and the E-mini is usually my go-to moves, because those are usually the most effective ones for me, at least. Let me put some music back on. All right, so we're bouncing up a little bit here, so you can kind of see a little bit of a bounce. The question is, do we hold here? I don't think there's really any edge right now. I think since retail sales has come out, it's been an incredibly choppy market with stuff like this. I think since this is out, the market has been super choppy. Same thing with like the Q. Mostly all day since the breakdown. We broke down overnight from weakness, and it's the same thing on the S&P. Like, we did break down overnight from weakness, but like the volatility since then has been pretty low, you know. I'm using Quant Tower with Top Step. So I'm using a platform called Quant Tower, which is just a really dope platform, to be honest. Yeah, but this is TD Ameritrade right here. So I'm gonna get ready to trade some futures too, and we'll put up some windows on the top, on the bottom right, just so you guys can see it. We'll keep these up on the Q and SPY. But again, understand the Q and SPY are the NASDAQ. They're the NASDAQ. The Q is the NASDAQ, and the SPY is the S&P 500. And so again, in futures, you can trade these with no PDT restrictions. All right, so here's the Dow. So another one we've been trading is the Dow. Because why would I need to trade that, OD? We should see more bank failures with these high rates. High rates for what? High interest rates? Or I'm assuming you mean high rate hikes. But we don't. We're expecting a pause this next one. All right, guys. So we are sitting tight waiting here. Again, very choppy price action, though, in both the SPY, the Q, E-mini. I just don't see anything that looks very good. There we go. Yeah, and again, we've been diversifying into some other trades, too. Yeah, I've never traded the CL though, and maybe there's some good action. So again, the Q popping back over the volume weighted average price. There's the Q up there at 368.50s. Again, the SPY at 445.20s. No, I disagree, OD. I'm just not interested in trading that. Maybe it's good. Again, I'm just not super interested in trading it. All right, again, SPY bouncing up at 445. So remember, guys, we drew this level, and I might make this a little bit larger here so we can kind of see it. So I drew this 445 level, and again, this is what we're trading in the futures market is the S&P, basically the SPY. But we drew this 445 level, and look at exactly where we bounce. And so I think over time you get kind of this flow state of support and resistance where you start to understand what potential bounce levels are in terms of previous trend. And so again, you can kind of judge the choppy trend. What this is confirming here by bouncing at 445 is choppiness as opposed to bearish weak action short term. So it's something that we now see kind of choppy weak action as opposed to breakdowns that we could have gotten there. And maybe we do break down later, but still. JP Morgan's down big right now. What's the PE ratio of JP Morgan, though? We'll think about buying the dip if it looks weak. So Goldman CEO David Solomon faces criticisms at bank amid struggles. All right, so U.S. banks, including JP Morgan and Bank of America, are at risk for Fitch downgrades. So Fitch Ratings has warned banks, including JP Morgan and Bank of America, that they could be at risk for ratings downgrades, according to CNBC. They reported that today. Analyst Chris Wolf reported this. The ratings agency considered that a one-notch downgrade of the U.S. banking industry to A+ from AA- would force Fitch to reassess ratings on each of the more than 70 banks, CNBC reported. And they said, quote, if we were to move it to A+, then that would recalibrate all our financial measures and would probably translate into negative rating actions, according to Wolf in an interview with CNBC. Again, in this scenario, two banks would likely be downgraded from A+ to A+ from AA- because they can't be rated higher than the environment in which they operate. JP declined to comment. Bank of America did not immediately respond to request. So, yeah, we'll see. Let me know what you guys think of that. Hey, thank you, OD. Yeah, I'm definitely top 3 of all time. Again, SPY bouncing back up. Look at SPY bouncing right at that 445 level up to the volume weighted average price. We'll see if we break over the VWAP here, what we do there. Yeah, the problem, and I'm noticing like views are down for basically everybody, you guys. And I like Meet Kevin. You know, I think Meet Kevin's great. I think there's less market interest right now. I think is what went down. I think there's simply less market interest. Do y'all think housing is going to hold? Is another good, like, interesting thing here. Again, there's the Q at 367s or so, 367s. We're doing futures trading mostly. John, can I buy ownership of your company? 10%. 10% would be about 200,000. But no, you can't. Again, SPY at 445.40s, 445.40s, JP Morgan at 152.60s. Yeah, I mean, I'm biased. I like Meet Kevin, but I'm a real estate agent, you know? And so, like, he started all, I was watching him when he was in real estate, going door to door, knocking on people's doors, trying to sell them his real estate services. And so then he kind of branched into finance, but he's not bad. Hey, what's up, Tiny? Hey, good to see you. It's a slower time in markets. The market's usually going to heat up in the faller months. Or the fall months, not the faller months. Yeah, I got my new Z Fold phone, guys. I'm super pumped. I forgot I had insurance, and so I got my new phone, where I had that crappy phone for days. They upgraded me to a Z Fold 4. So I'm pretty pumped about that, honestly. I forgot I had insurance. Bro, the scammers never take a day off, bro. Hopefully you guys don't get scammed by people in hopefully you guys never get scammed in hopefully you guys never get scammed in the comment section. There's a lot of scammy comments trying to sell you on market gurus and stuff and nonsense. Can anybody refer me to like a good I need a good, what I really need is a good thumbnail creator. I'm looking for like a really good one. I've had a lot of people, like, honestly, it's kind of shocking how many people reach out, and I'm not hating on anybody. It's kind of shocking how many people reach out and they're like, yeah, we're thumbnail artists. And it's like, okay, great. And then you look at their work and their work is just not good. Their work is just not good. Like, I create my own thumbnails. And so, like, and I'm not saying my work is great. I know my thumbnails need some work. But, like, some of these thumbnails that people are sending me are just not good. You know, they're just not good. And so I need somebody that's genuinely good. And so if anybody knows somebody with good thumbnail skills, holler at me. I'm looking for... Yeah, all good, man. No worries. Just use AI for thumbnails. Where? I know I use a thumbnail making service. Again, if you want to see my thumbnails, this is my thumbnails for today. If you want to check it out, like, this is my work, basically. This is work I do, right? So, like, that's my own. And so, like, if you can't produce higher quality than this, don't try to sell me on your services, because I can make this in about 10 seconds, you know? Yeah, I really did forget I could get that 2K service for free, bro. Honestly, like I said, man, I broke my phone in Michigan, and I just kind of sat on it. I forgot I had insurance. So again, does the market bounce back today, guys? Does the market bounce back today? Sometimes I like bob my head here and We're sitting tight waiting. I'm looking for a thumbnail artist to kind of redo some of my thumbnails, but like they need to be higher quality than what I'm currently doing. Because if not, it's not worth it. Like I'm not going to pay somebody to do worse work than I currently have. Again, green day or red day. The market's starting to bounce back a little bit, guys. We got 18 minutes. I will be right back while I'm gone, guys, while I'm gone. All right. While I'm gone, what's the best question here, guys? Give me some options. What are some good questions while I go use the restroom real quick? I usually have a bladder of steel, but not today. I'm leaning bullish. I don't know. I don't know what I'm leaning today. I think the market's down enough where there's certainly a bull argument. I don't know if it's going to follow through with it, though, but it's certainly down enough where there is a bull argument here. So I really don't know. No, I don't want to hire a Disney cartoonist, bro. No offense. I appreciate the support. Does today end red or green? Or, how about this one? Is the first after market, is the first hour after market open green or red? Leave answer in chat. All right, so is the first hour after market open green or red, guys? Let me know. There is the question. I'll be right back. Restroom break time. But yeah, answer that question. Is the first hour after market open green or red? Let me know. All right, we are back. Let's see what the answers are. So we asked people, is the first hour after market open green or red today? Let's see what some of these answers show. Sorry, I just bumped my mic. Let's see what some of these answers showed up as. Green, 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 consolidating green. I go red. It'll be both, obviously. Green, 1,000% green, green, red, green, green, red, green. So it looks like most people are saying green after the opening bell, and the market is popping up a decent amount so far this morning. So we are getting some improvements in this bearish action relative to this open, or relative to earlier this morning. Market's starting to look better, I'll say. Starting to look better. Again, SPY's all the way back up to 446. So SPY has basically filled almost half the gap on the downside so far. Yellow. Hey. When did Michael Burry execute the position he got in? Everybody's talking about this big short position by Michael Burry. When did he actually execute that short position? And again, if you do not know, Michael Burry recently made a massive short bet against the market. It is an absolutely huge bet. If you look at, I see somebody posting what they're saying is Burry's trades from this bet. And again, it is big, if somebody's posting these, what they're saying is the trade execution from this bet. And if this is actually true, this bet looks huge. In that case, if it is true, Burry bought 2 million SPY put options and 2 million Q put options, QQQ. Now, so he's basically betting against the broader market. The SPY is the S&P 500. So he bought 2 million put options worth almost $1 billion, 886.5 million. And in put options, he bought 739 million roughly put options against the Q. So that's a big bet against the market. Again, let me know if you guys think it's going to work out for him or not. Risky bet, but hey, we'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think. That's a risky bet. Yeah, hold on. I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to mute this music real quick. But yeah, that's a big bet against the market, man. I'm scared to take that bet personally, but hey, he's a braver man than me. All right, guys, market is storming up. Look at the SPY. SPY up to 446.20s here. Huge run. Again, it's up to 446.20s. Yeah, so 2 million SPY put options, 2 million Q put options. This is billions of dollars in trades. About 1.6, 1.7 billion. All right, but yeah, that's a crazy bet, man. I'm looking at that bet now. If you guys want to see, again, if you guys want to see that bet, man, that is a risky bet here, risky bet. And we'll see. Robinhood with the BS again. What's going on with Robinhood? He bought put options, not shorted. Yes, he bought put options. Again, look up what a put option is, brother. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the Greeks were or what the conditions are for that option, but I know he bought to put it into perspective, right? So he bought roughly, if what I'm seeing is accurate in terms of what Burry um did here, what Burry did. Basically, they are saying Burry's big short position. Where did it go? I thought I had it. Yeah, so if we look at Burry's big position here, let me find it. I saw it a second ago. Yeah, so basically they're saying he spent in total 886.5 million plus 739 million. So he just spent $1.625 billion on this short position. And again, what I'm showing is 2 million shares of 2 million put options on the SPY and then 2 million put options on the Q. Those are two of the largest broad market ETFs. Again, the SPY is the S&P 500. The Q is the NASDAQ, just so you understand. So he's betting big against the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. Which is a big bet, man. That's a risky bet, bro. Again, he's braver man than me, but he's also got way more money than me. It's notational value. Okay, got you. Yeah, so again, the SPY ripped over 446, and now it's starting to dip back down a little bit, guys. So we ripped over 446. Now we're finally starting to dip down a little bit. I doubt he sold it that quick. Everybody's asking, like, Burry's scalping. I don't think Burry's a scalper. He might have, like, again, we'll see, but I don't know. I don't know if Burry's going to be a scalper like that, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Okay, got you. So, okay, so yeah, so basically it's notational value, which means that if Burry were to exercise his puts and buy 2 million SPY shares, that would be worth, you know, about $866 million. You know, and same thing with the put options in terms of like how much 2 million shares of the put would be, or 2 million shares of the Q would be about 739 million. So he's not actually spending that money. It's notational value. Yes. And now I'm looking that up now. If he did it in June, he's down big. Yeah, I heard some people say he did it in June. I'm not sure if it's now or not. Does anybody know when the date of that trade was, guys? I guess is the question. Does anybody know when the actual date of that trade is? Okay, so the filing was from June 30th. That's 46 days ago. He could already be out of that position or not. Good info to know. Okay, yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, no, I appreciate the update. I'm never too rigid in what I'm saying. I'm just kind of reading news as it happens, and so y'all are more than welcome to correct me if I'm wrong, and you know, it's all good. I'm definitely wrong sometimes, so it's all good, man. All right, we're patiently waiting here. Burry made a good call in 08, but he's made 48 terrible calls since. Yeah, 100%. I agree. I think he's made so many bearish predictions that it's very difficult for me to trust him. All right, guys, we got 2.5 or 3.5 minutes left until the market opens. 3.5 minutes. 30-year mortgage rates are inching over 8%. Mortgage refinance is in a coma. Banks are laying off many people in their mortgage division. Housing market is freezing up. Everything is fine. Yeah. And again, I think like I'm noticing the mortgage get worse and worse and worse. What were the last 30-year rates? Let me see what the last 30-year rates are. And again, I think that's where some of the haters are coming from. Like, again, I've let a lot of people on my stream as like kind of like fun. And I think sometimes desperate people do desperate things, you know? And I think like I've known a lot of mortgage brokers, and like stuff can get just, it can just get weird, man. It can just get weird. And again, of course, none of this is my fault. Like mortgage rates are going up are not my fault. You know, businesses struggling is not my fault, but sometimes I think they just can't help it. They just kind of lash out like kids. And, you know, again, mortgages, I guess I understand. Again, mortgages have been slowly increasing, and typically mortgages tend to move with the market over the long periods of time. So like over the long periods of time, typically mortgages move with the market. Yeah, looking at last week here. So again, last week we came in at 7.09%. Mortgage rates are over 8% in a lot of places. The Dow's still pushing up a lot. And so again, that's been really hard on not just mortgage brokers, but also real estate agents. And again, I know a lot of real estate agents, a lot of mortgage brokers. And so I'm not talking about anyone specifically here, but I know a lot of them are struggling, man. I know a lot of them are struggling. Mortgages are just not doing well, man. Again, a couple years ago, mortgages were at 2.25. You know, 2.25. And so mortgage rates being that high is not good for housing. Commercial real estate's also in a huge struggle currently because, again, for a lot of different reasons in terms of commercial. Like, number one, the pandemic fundamentally changed how we did business. And so especially with like remote work taking over, there's still some people that like in-house work, but there's a lot of people that are just doing purely remote work now. And so, and a lot of businesses are discovering that you don't need to rent a warehouse and pay for a warehouse and throw 30 employees in there. You can have them all work remotely from home and get the same stuff. And so commercial has been dumping down too. And maybe it's something to buy up some commercial stuff, but yeah, that's kind of the market right now. All right, so here's the opening bell, guys. All right, so again, there's the opening bell. SPY bouncing back short term. The Dow bouncing back. SPY at 446.30s here. Again, JP Morgan at 153s. Banks bouncing back a little bit. Again, SPY went all the way up and then retraced all the way back down here. So again, we're sitting tight. We're waiting. Yeah, and that's good, Tiny. You know, we're again trading. You know, it's a decent little skill if you can learn to master it. You know, but it's hard, of course. Very difficult. Again, SPY's starting to come back down here, so we're watching the SPY, and we will pivot to the E-mini if we get some good setup there, to be honest. Consolidation, SPY dipping down. Starting to get a little pop in some stuff. Tesla's starting to go green on the day. We'll see if that drags everything up with it. ExxonMobil starting to dip. Maybe the Barbie movie will save AMC. Maybe. Possible. AMC still at 340s. We'll watch it, see if we get a run. I like it at these levels. I do like AMC at these levels. I don't know if it's going to hold these levels, though, but I do like it there. It's not like I hate it at these levels. Again, we're going to wait and let the opening bell play out a little bit. Q bouncing up, SPY bouncing back up a little bit. We're starting to see some upward movement and everything. I'm going to put up the NASDAQ here, I think. We do have a slight... All right, so we just made some here from the NASDAQ. We are up 160. Very quick scalp. I saw the pattern and I liked it. Everything else is starting to rebound up a little bit at the opening bell. So far, bullish open right now. NVIDIA ripping up too, kind of dragging the rest of the market up to 450s here for NVIDIA. All right, we just bought another little piece of this on the NASDAQ. Big contraction back down here. And I got to be very careful with this, to be honest. Pop right back up. Oof. Luckily, I got a $200 cushion on the day, but oof, nasty. Yeah, we just got beat up there. So we'll probably switch accounts there. Not going to take that one anymore. I'm probably pushing a little bit too early, in all honesty. So let me switch this. We're only down like $300 because, again, we were already up a couple hundred. But, again, not going to mess with that one right now. Figure out the right one. Again, the goal is to build up a cushion like I just did and then swing into that cushion is the goal. We can do that. We're doing happy and we're nice. All right, so we just bought this dip, rode the bounce. Just made about 100 real quick on this. So we got a cushion on this one now, but we're going to stop trading and slow down a little bit. NVIDIA actually started to dip down some. Tesla's starting to turn too. So we do want to watch that dynamic here. I'm going to put the Tesla chart up on the top right. Very choppy price action right now. Tesla basically turned all the way back down, although the market is starting to run. Yeah, every day's not perfect, man. Again, one thing I've gotten good at though is like if I lose, I usually do pretty good at like at least closing down that account. But again, the market's so flat right now. I just got to be careful. We got another cushion on the day already. Again, I don't trust this. You can see the Q on the top, on the bottom right. Yeah, I mean, guys, like I said, y'all see me make $800, $1,000 on any particular day. The other side of that is like losing days are certainly there. And so we're not going to make money every day. That's not a reasonable expectation. And you shouldn't expect it either. And so just be smart. Don't push too heavy. I'm letting things settle down a little bit. I don't really see any trend. I see mostly choppy action. And so unless you're going to buy the bottom range and sell the top, then there's not really much edge. I got to just sit. Yo, NVIDIA dipped a little bit back down. Let me see where it's at now. NVIDIA right at the volume weighted average price. It depends on whether you think it's going to bounce, but the market is really giving us a very flat trend right now. There's not really any trend that the market's showing us at this point in time, except for a neutral sideways trend. How you guys doing at the opening bell today? Again, we're slowing down. We're at the top of the range. It kind of looks good. But huge rip ups in the market back. See what the market holds. The last couple minutes have been testing the top of that range, and the market's been wanting to push up. All right, so market's starting to edge higher. There's the run back up to the top. Market looks strong here. We'll see if we get a dip. Watch Tesla here. NVIDIA is what's dragging the market back up now. NVIDIA is hurling the market higher. Huge run on the SPY. Q's topping highs. Q's breaking highs of market open as well here, team. And the rest of the market is just ripping up. Wow. All right, market got a little pullback here. Part of me wants to buy this dip. Might buy this little baby dip here. If we start to break down too much, we'll have to cut it, and maybe it's just not my day. We want to give it time, but yeah, it's a pretty large pullback. Very small loss, though. We kept that one very small and minor. But again, we're getting really choppy action in the day, so it might be a day where we're going up big and then down big and then up big and then down big. So we got to give it time, but again, we're not going to push too hard on losing days. Every day is not going to be green. And again, you guys see me make 800, 1,000 and all that good stuff. But the other side of that is like sometimes we're going to lose. And some days the market's just not going to treat us right. Some days we're not going to trade the market right. Anybody that claims to be green every day is most of the time just full of crap. So we had a couple strings of losses, so we're going to sit. And if we do trade, we're going to trade very carefully and calculated. NVIDIA's starting to pull back down a little bit, though. But again, what we're now seeing is choppiness. If you look at Tesla breaking lows, still coming down. I'm actually green on target today, too. We'll see if NVIDIA holds this. All right, I see the NQ breaking down, but it's such a choppy trend. I'm tempted to attack it, but again, man, the market's going up and down. A lot of it's following Nvidia too, to be honest. That's a weak looking sign. Nvidia bouncing right at the volume weighted average price. All right, so we're riding a short position down on the S&P 500 currently. Look at this big gain. So we just made a couple hundred back on the S&P, mostly shorting it. I wanted to catch the breakdown. I could have done it on the NQ, but again, I'm just going to wait now. Right now, the trend is slightly bearish, I would say, but it's still pretty neutral. Like if we look at the actual trend here, it's slightly bearish, but still pretty neutral. I would say it's like... Here's the neutral level. We've broken underneath that, and now we're starting to potentially go like that. I don't know if we're going to, but that's kind of what it looks like. Nvidia breaking under lows, starting to look weak. This might get me started shorting more. We get a little bounce, maybe I'll short into it. I do see Nvidia looking weak, and that could drag everything back down. Yeah, there's Nvidia getting weak. All right, we are breaking down, writing this down a little bit. We're up about 75. We're going to go and cut that. So in our other account, we are up about 300. But remember, we lost a couple $100 in our other account. So really, we're about flat now on the day total if you include our other account. So there's the E-mini. We're watching this breakdown, and it's getting quick. Again, I thought we were slightly bearish. Yeah, so the NASDAQ starting to flush, the Q starting to flush, everything's starting to break down now, looking weak. Finally started to dump. And again, check out one of my sponsors here, guys. One of my sponsors, again, Chart Prime. It's a trading view indicator service. You can use it in stocks, crypto, forex, futures. My three favorite things to put up are the market dynamics, the market oracle, and the market oracle pro. If you look at these three things, there's a wealth of data that it gives you. And again, these are just custom indicators. So it's like $40 a month. It's very cheap. It's just kind of like having your custom version of VWAP. But if you look at how accurate these are, you can see how powerful they are. So look at the sell signal here a couple minutes ago, and we had huge breakdowns afterwards. Look at the rising triangle wedge. Worked really well when it happened, and then the break of it even worked better. Look at the reversal down signal here. You get drops. Look at the bearish engulfing candle up here. You get drops. You got a strong buy signal here. Nice bounce. You got the reversal down signal here that gave you this alert and then had a huge period of breakdowns. And so again, when you use all this together, it's powerful in my opinion. I can't guarantee you're going to make money. They're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased in their favor. But again, Chart Prime is incredibly useful, and I use it for my trading a decent amount as well. Again, it's like 30 bucks a month. If you use my link, like 35 bucks a month. And again, you can get up to 40% off. You can check out the link right there. You can get up to 40% off if you use my link, and you can use promo code BTRADES if you haven't already. So again, check that out here. Great way to help support your boy here in this channel. There's the link. Again, we got a little bounce here. I might short this. I'm going to press the short button here and take 2 contracts maybe if I need to. Nice little breakdown flush. I just made a cool little 100 bucks. All right, we're grinding up. We are up about 400 on the day, about 400. Our win-loss ratio is about 7-1. And again, we've got Chart Prime up on the other page here. So we caught that little breakdown bounce on the 1-minute chart. We're looking at everything else. Big pop back up in the NASDAQ. I'm going to short this too. I don't want to give too much back, which it looks like I might be now. We'll give it a second to break back down. We're going to take the profit that I have on the day and swing a little bit harder. There's 2 contracts short. I just locked in half. Just locked in the rest. Another quick scalp. We're up about 500 on the day. 9-1 win-loss ratio. Nice little breakdown here. Again, the market's at 445s, which is not like the best spot short term, but I mean, guys, again, you got to understand long term, okay? So like, look, people saying this is a market crash, understand. Here's the SPY, all right? We put up a weekly chart on the SPY. This is a little blip, you know? You zoom out. You know, maybe I don't know what we're going to do. I really don't know, but we're definitely not there yet, I don't think. All right, we got a little contract here. We got about $500 in cushion in this account. All right, we got 2 contracts. Short. Beautiful flush, just took half off. And we're bouncing back a little bit. I don't know what I want to do with the rest. I want to give this time to really follow through and consolidate towards that low of the range. But we've already taken some profit here, and I think we can let the rest work. Let's give it some time. And up over 500 on the day here. Beautiful breakdown. I want to give it time. Up about 100. There's another flush back down. All right, I'm going to get out around the lows. So we just made another 150. We're up about $600 in the day in this account. 11-1 win-loss ratio here. Got a little bounce here. The question is, like, I don't know what we do on this little bounce. I really don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and close it down though, guys. I think we got a little pop back up. I don't know what we're gonna do with this. I'm looking at it. Nice little pop back up. Maybe we're gonna reverse and head back up. I really don't know. And so, yeah, there's been a lot of news over the last couple days about Michael Burry, his huge short position. The thing to understand is that according to paperwork, that short position was filed June 30th. And if you look at what the market has done since June 30th, the market has moved up a lot where we are now. On June 30th, the SPY was at 416s. The SPY is currently at almost 445, almost 450. And so the SPY is up a lot. That short position is a big position. If he were to exercise those options, it would be worth about $1.6 billion. And so the question here with Michael Burry's short position is, when did he get out if he's still in it? If he's still in it, he's probably down pretty big despite the small pullback we've had over the last couple weeks. And so what do you guys think about Michael Burry's short position? Again, he's betting against the Q, against the SPY, which is the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 with big positions, 2 million put options on both of those. Let me know what you guys think, because, yeah, that's a crazy position. There's a breakdown here. There's a breakdown. Again, we'll see if we actually hold, but there's a breakdown. But, yeah, again, let me know what you guys think about that. I'm probably going to get ready to close the stream down. Let me see. Big breakdown testing lows. Yeah, and so like I said, man, I'm really tempted to look more into this Michael Burry short position again. So Michael Burry, as of June 30th, again took 2 million put options on the SPY and 2 million put options on the Q. And on June 30th, the SPY was at like 415 bucks. It's now at like 445. And so the real question again is, where did Burry get out if he got out? If he's still in those positions, he's probably down pretty heavily in those positions. And that's if he didn't exit those positions already. But again, the market's kind of acting like he just entered those positions. And again, I think they said the filing date was June 30th. And if that's the case, the SPY's up big, the Q's up big from that date. And so again, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Michael Burry is still holding that position? And if he is, again, he's probably down pretty big. We'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think. And with that said, we're probably going to go ahead and close it down here. Got a small little bounce. I'm kind of tempted to buy this bounce a little bit. Also, guys, one of my sponsors is Top Step. Top Step is a funded account program for futures. They give you a demo and they test your skill. And if you're struggling to day trade or want to day trade with a little bit less risk potentially, try out Top Step. Top Step funds traders. What they do is they give you a demo and they test your skill. If the base one's 50K, it costs 49 bucks. If you can hit 3,000 in profit on that 50K demo without losing over 2K, they fund you 50K with a 90% split. You get to keep your first 10K in profit. And it really is the best of both worlds for traders who are learning. If you're good at pass it, you get a 90% split. You get to keep your first 10K in profit. They have free funding coaches, all that good stuff. But if you lose, which is most day traders lose money, you're only down 49 bucks. It's the most legit funded program in the world. They pay out millions. Um, and they fund thousands of traders a year. So again, if you want to check them out, great way to help support the channel. I definitely appreciate the love and support here, guys. Hit the like button, hit the comments. Leave me a comment if you haven't already, and I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, guys. Good luck. Y'all be safe. I'll see you guys later. Sorry, I'm working on building some shorts up here. That yeah, so we're working on building some shorts. Yeah, if you want to check out Top Step again, here's the link. Great way to help support the channel. I'll see you guys later. Good luck. I think Top Step is finally opened back up to traders, but again, here's the link. I'll see you guys later. A lot of traders close out so soon after the market opens because I've been up since 4 a.m., man. Yeah, but there's the Top Step link. Y'all be safe. Good luck. I'll see you guys.